Chanel on my feet, yeah, that's for all my C's. I be fucking with the bees like Muhammad Ali. Dip her uppercut this thing. Got your bitch on the edge of her seat. She on that ecstasy, I'm on the beat. Swear the ecstasy, edge of my V. And usually, I like repetitive beat. I like the way that she move on my meat. All of these bitches, they look good to me. But I fuck the same girl cause I don't even cheat. That is a lie, I'm repetitive freak. I don't even look, no, I don't even seek. I don't even peek. G5, repetitive G. I'm trying to get out of motherfucking cheese. Bitch, I'm a boss, I'm wherever it be. I've been on tour, I see more. I told them motherfuckers feed me beats. Just like my music, yo bitch, she gon' leak.
Came out buzzing, 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 came out buzzing. I'm road running, I'm so cunning. High tech digit, fat for a button, passport shouted, airport pilot, NASCAR audit, swan time bombing. 2 white bitches, still gon' pick it. Fly shit kicking, still toe pigeon. Young like sleazy, get back with you. Step back, hit him with the step back switch it. Hey nigga, hoping that it melt might glisten. Shit might triple, shit might missile, shit might hit you. Free G Walker, that might Cody, that might nigga. I been stacking for him, really. When he pull up, they gon' think it. He went platinum up in prison. I'm just floating on the river. Please be early, please be gorgeous, please be with it, please be for it. Let me do donuts in your foreign. Let me play number 8 while I do it. Let me control it, I can control it. Either with one hand, maybe with nothing. Play with my zipper, play with my bubble. That was your sister, that was my summer. Came out buzzing, 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 came out buzzing.
Hey, it's your boy, DJ, Mr. Lou. We're here again, another Saturday night at Redbird Skateland. Make sure you make your way to the snack bar. We got honey buns, hot chips and cheese, Kool-Aid pickles. We got everything. Just make sure you don't eat on the skateboard. I repeat, do not eat on the skateboard. You ain't got time to be slipping on no cheese.
In that leader type cider, I got the bones like a collar. You know I'm inside. Been the crib when we creepin' when we still. Ayy, they gotta hear me, they gotta hear me, they gotta hear me, they gotta hear me. I gotta let them know, oh, I gotta let them know, oh, for sure. They gotta hear me, they gotta hear me, they gotta hear me, they gotta hear me. I gotta let them know, oh, I gotta let them know, oh, for sure.
I found a good thing when I found you. Good thing when I found you. I found a good thing when I found you. I found a good thing when I found you. Pressure build diamonds, that's why you shining. That's why you walk in the room and change the climate. I ain't even trying, I ain't even trying. Yeah. You can see the look in my eye, you know I'm sliding.
Hey, they gotta hear my story, I'ma tell them how it go. Get that nigga out the ship if he starts sinking the boat. How he gonna stay afloat when you the one that gave him hope? Running with some colos, but baby, I just keep alone. Don't abuse diamonds, baby, keep on smiling. That's why you walk in the room and change the climate. Had to make you mine, and I feel it's perfect timing. I know I ain't the best at love, except the fact I'm trying. You vibrant, live me in my life and bring some vibes in. Put the panties down, baby girl, I dive in. A nigga play with you, I swear to God he's dying. I swear he's dying. Gotta let a fuck nigga know. Gotta let him know, gotta let him know, gotta let him know, run the show. Murder, murder, she wrote, murder, she wrote. They gotta hear me, they gotta hear me, they gotta hear me, they gotta hear me. I gotta let them know, I gotta let them know, for sure.
I found a good thing when I found you. I found a good thing when I found you. I found a good thing when I found you. I found a good thing when I found you. Pressure build diamonds, that's why you shining. That's why you walk in the room and change the climate. I ain't even trying, I ain't even trying. You can see the look in my eye, you know I'm sliding. Yeah, 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 yeah.
She let me out.
So clean, cause she put that question been harassing me in the mind. This bitch is fine, I done came to the club about 50-11 times. Now can I play with your panty line? The club wanna say I need to calm down. Security guards gonna swing me now. Pick a drunk, then a motherfucker threaten me now.
She getting drunk in the club, I mean she work. And then I like to see them females work. Taking the clothes off, bucking naked. AGL, hold on, disrespect it. I pop your pussy like this. Cause you ain't friends in this VI. It's Lil Jon and the East Side boys with me. And we all like to see ass and titties. Now bring your ass over here, ho. And let me see you get low. If you want this dub, now take it to the floor. Now if your ass wanna act, then you can keep your ass where you at.
369, damn good. Take it to me one more time and go. Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low. To the window, to the wall, to the wall.
When drop down my ball, all these bitches raw. All these motherfuckers, all these got that. All these motherfuckers, all these got that.
Let me see you get low, you stay. Take it down to the floor, you stay. Let me see you get low, you stay. Take it down to the floor, you stay. Turn it out, hey, shake it back, hey. Turn it out to the left and the right, hey. Turn it out, hey, shake it back, hey. Turn it out to the left and the right, hey. Now, back it up, hey. Back it up, hey. Back it up, hey. Back it up. Now stop, then wiggle with it, 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 369, damn good. Take it to me one more time and go. Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low. To the window, to the wall, to the wall.
When drop down my ball, all these bitches raw. All these motherfuckers, all these got that. All these motherfuckers, all these got that. Give me my dog back, go get your friends. Stupid bitch standing there while I'm drinking my hand. Steady looking at me, still asking questions. Time's up, nigga, pass me another contestant. Hold, move to the left if you ain't about steady. And talk through 3 or 4 songs already. Looking at a nigga with your palm out. Bitch, I ain't even seen you dance. Twerk something, baby. Work something, baby. Poppin' pussy on the pole, do your thing, baby. Slide down there, bitch, a little bit, then stop. Get back on the floor, catch your balance, then drop. Now bring it back up, clap your ass like hand. I just wanna see your ass dirty dance. Yeah, we done done it again. And put it on the map like, man.
369, damn good. Take it to me one more time and go. Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low. To the window, to the wall, to the wall.
When drop down my ball, all these bitches raw. All these motherfuckers, all these got that. All these motherfuckers, all these got that.
Yeah, y'all twerking a little bit, ladies. Twerking a little harder than that. Now, right now, I need all the ladies that know they look good tonight. What am I saying? We want y'all to just do this shit like this.
Bend over to the front, touch your toe, bout that ass up and down again. Get low, get low. Bend over to the front, touch your toe, bout that ass up and down again. Get low, get low. Bend over to the front, touch your toe, bout that ass up and down again. Get low, get low. Bend over to the front, touch your toe, bout that ass up and down again. Get low, get low. 369, damn good. Take it to me one more time and go. Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low.
To the window,
to the wall,
to the wall.
to the wall.
When drop down my
J-Bo, Young Blues, you already know how we do it, homeboy. And Will is A-Town, 105 Will is A-Town, Attitude, you already know. Lil Jon, Eastside Boys, and your boy Sean Paul, let me tell you like this here, boy. They calling me to come back to the street, who Sean P. AKA a short crease, said it was necessary. These sucker niggas out here very scary. They cuffin' hoe, they living in the month of February. Okay then, put a sissy nigga on display then. Kicking your door and have my folk them bring them K's in. I'm still addict, A-double-T-I-C. It ain't no hoe out there for real who don't know about me, bitch, I'm for sure with it. Don't make me pop that trunk to the left, bitch, I will go get it. And I ain't selfish, I will let you in your old feeling. Won't catch me sippin' no Chris and got a cold billy. It's Young Blues, A-Town, all liquor sippin', coming straight from the gutter. Toe tag a motherfucker, leave him under a cover. Lil Jon, he dropped the beat to make it bounce like rubber. Sean Paul told the heat to make it mugged in sluggy.
Yeah. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck.
Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit.
I post up, get to it, drink hand in hand. They call me Mr. Herringbone, cause that's my right hand man. Old school, straight foolish, like no other indeed. Well, Lil Jon is Young Bloods, dead crunk as can be. Addict Crew 105, as if you looking to rumble. Clock back, bust, ain't now I done got your number. In the club, you gon' feel it when it drop this summer. Like rain, we gon' pour and hit you hard like thunder. Cause in the dirt, and we gon' more than drink you under the table. Where them niggas pimp hoes and fly suits and gators. In my Chevy, so super, I'm the one to call. Just dial 1-800-430-alcohol. And dog, I'm not the one that you really just wanna clown. I'm cool in my way, but shit still, I shut them down. Then pits on them haters, J-Bo, he cuts a fool in a cut box scissor somewhere, that's how we do.
Yeah. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck.
Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit.
Out of time, hard heads get Swiss cheesed up. And you gon' need motor stitches to patch that leak up. Jump like we up, I'm out TV'd up. With the plush leather gut, steady gripping the butt. Oh, you for show with it. Or pull your pistol, show a nigga you ain't hoe with it. And I ain't selfish, I would let you and your folk feel it. Talking big boy shit, me mugging like a motherfucker, my hand on my dick.
Cause off the grip, we keep it jumping like it ain't nothing new. We started off with shake 'em out, so look partner, oh guess who? It's the boy from that bottom who took you down 85 and hit you with that US, so look here, don't be surprised. We bucking, blowing, killer, and sipping on something good. I'm peeping out the scenery, wishing a nigga would. In case it just might pop, I'm already to lock and load. To take you through the South to show you how we throw them bows.
Yeah. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck.
Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit.
Yeah. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Hey. If we don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck.
Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. Hey.
Yeah, A-Town is on again, A-Town, yeah. Y'all know how we do around this time. Young Bloods, Lil Jon, yeah. I tote that thing, yeah, I mean. Hat lean, clothes smell like green. Ice and white tea, and white weed. I'm buy bread, real G, get G. Back to the street, back with Lil Jon. Back for the A, back reppin' for the slum. Put your hood up, show a nigga where you from. And if they hate that, then get the job done. What we wine, big wheel, chopping hard chop it hard like me, like me. Over drink, that Patron. Keep the bottle popping all night long. What we smoke, that good. President shit, George Bush. How we do it like this, Big Crunk, big.
16, I'ma give it to you raw. Take it to your ass, slap you clean, cross the jaw. Now where they at? Who want some? See, I don't think y'all really want none. See, I'm back with a whole new clip, with a badass chick on some brand new shit. Now put 'em up to the sky. Get buck, get drunk, get high. Shake 'em off, you know what to do. Take it to the floor, haul out your whole crew. Like what? Look, if you boss, see we still don't give a damn, and I never gave a fuck. See I'm big timing, wrist stay blinding with 4 or 5 3s. Yeah, my pinky ring shining. I stay grinding and true to the streets. If you ever need to find it, you know where we can meet. Chop it hard like me, Over drink, that Patron. Keep the bottle popping all night long. What we smoke, that good. President shit, George Bush. How we do it like this, Big Crunk, big. I feel big bang, and drink. That's why I got a purple Sprite, and y'all ain't. Y'all ride big rim, seeing me is tall. So when you step down, baby girl, don't fall. Y'all niggas know the name. They call me Sean Paul, and I ain't got no problems except breaking the law. Niggas call me dope, cause I'm hard and I'm raw. Can call me that fiend, wasn't here to make you call, man. I'm always beside me. Watch got diamonds. I ain't part-time, and I'm full-time grinding. The nigga wasn't shining. Now a nigga blinding. Niggas with the dimes in the whips that I be riding. And I'ma pull them up into the drum beat. And you can see them moving, sitting in the back seat. They wild on the east, they wild in the streets. And I'ma keep my peace, sitting on the front seat. What we ride, big wheel. Chop it hard like me, Over drink, that Patron. Keep the bottle popping all night long. What we smoke, that good. President shit, George Bush. How we do it like this, Big Crunk, big.
Tater man does whatever the tater can. Runs down the hill, rubs his rock. The ukulele can suck my. Watch out, here comes the tater man. Okay, hold on. Whew. Oh my God. Oh. I don't even know. Man, life is good. Life is good. What do you want me to say? Life is good. All right, it's Tuesday night.
college football season has started, that means it's time for brag or cry. So don't ask me anything about next weekend's games. I have no opinion. You can call in and brag about what your team did last weekend, or you can call in and cry about what your team did last weekend. The choice is up to you. The choice is yours. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Bama Mike, Huffer Billy Paul, Big Daddy Dog, Buckeyes for Life, Pizza Woman, RB Smata, Adrian, Lucas, Big Dog, Weed, Got You, Dr. Vol, Captain Trips, Jay Shipes, The Sports Expert, Katusa 93, JC, Jewel Bell, Nicholas Bozeman, Savage, Cabbage, yeah, Alabama Willie, Young Citrus, Colby, Guinness Dog, Shadow, The Real MVP, Bama Fanatic, Big Dog, Kevin Cook, Spike, LV, Rob Falter, GF Sports, Mark Anderson, Luke Walker, Everlasting Chaos, Nate the Great, Matt Dummett, Fallen Hero, Baylor Man. It just doesn't have the same ring to it. Baylor Man just doesn't have the same ring to it as Tater Man. I don't know. True Louisiana Animal is here. Bandy Dandy, Rob D, Nicholas Williamson, Thomas McNeil, William Nix, Lucas Sharp, John Rigney. Everybody hit the thumbs up if you hadn't already. We're going to get right to the phone call because I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to call in. Hit the thumbs up. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Doesn't take any time to do, and it's a huge help to a live show when you hit the thumbs up. So go ahead and hit the thumbs up now if you haven't already. If you want to support the show, the super chat is right below the comment section. That's a good way to do it. You can attach a note to your super chat, and I'll be happy to read it, or a question, and I'll be happy to answer it. Same thing with the PayPal. For those of you who have a PayPal and don't mind using it, there's a PayPal link. The moderators will post it a couple of times throughout the show. So there you go. That's it for the morning announcements. It's time for brag or cry. Here we go. Yeah, you're on with Uncle Lou. Do you need to brag or cry?
Oh, I'm going to cry there, Lou.
All right, go ahead.
I'm a Tennessee fan, and I didn't think they looked good, but they actually looked a lot worse than I anticipated. I'm sure you didn't get a chance to watch much of it, but, I mean, they just didn't look good.
No, I watched it. They didn't look like a top 25 team or anything like that, but I think as a Tennessee fan, beating anybody by that amount of points is a win.
But that team they played, that team was bad.
Yeah, they're horrible.
I mean, they had walk-ons. They had walk-ons playing in the offensive line. They had linebackers playing tight end. I mean, they're not even really a team, Lou.
Right. I mean, every team they played last year beat them worse than Tennessee beat them the other day. But again, we're talking about Tennessee here. Any win for Tennessee at this point is a good win, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, so we got Tennessee Tech to look forward to. Boy, Vanderbilt looks bad. Good grief.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just unreal. And, but, I think Pitt's going to annihilate us, dude.
I have a feeling it might be a pretty good game. If I had to pick the game right now, I would pick Pitt to win. But I don't think they're going to come in and blow Tennessee out or anything like that. I would be surprised if that happened.
Okay. One more thing as far as the Georgia game the other day.
Yeah.
What that does for Georgia more than anything is they don't have to win in Atlanta now. I mean, they'll be just fine and dandy if they don't. Do you agree with that?
Well, if they navigate the remainder of the season, regular season, undefeated, then there's a possibility they could get into the playoffs even with a loss in the conference title game, because we saw that happen last year with Notre Dame. Notre Dame beat Clemson in the regular season, lost to Clemson in the ACC title game, but still made the playoffs. But, of course, that's going to depend on what else goes on in the other conferences around college football. But, of course, that would be a possibility.
All right, Lou. I enjoy it, buddy.
All right. Good luck to your Vols this week against Pitt. Uncle Lou will be watching very carefully, too. Very carefully, too. I'm itching. I'm just itching to grab that Tennessee helmet off that wall back there and put it on the Your Season is Over table next week. I'm just itching to do it, just to let you know. So we'll see. Good morning, but you're on with Uncle Lou, though.
Uncle Lou, this is TB, Tiger Baskins. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great, and I'm sure you are as well. I happen to know that you're a Georgia fan, so I'm assuming you called to brag.
I did want to I guess, harp on a few other things as well. That's okay.
Of course it is.
Make a few other people cry. If that's okay. Okay.
Of course it is.
Well, first off, Georgia Tech, your team, and I've said this a few times, you need to go ahead and donate your entire football team to Goodwill. That way, homeless people will be able to have something to play with that's worth, well, never mind. It's not worth any type of value, but at least it'll be something for them to play with for a little bit before they have to give it back, okay? So I'm sorry, Georgia Tech, man. You're trash. You'll always be trash. Your program will never rise, no matter if you get Jeff Collins. Hell, you could hire Dabo Swinney, and he'd bring Tony Elliott fast with him, and he'd score 3 points a game there. So
that's serious.
Sorry. Anyways, I just wanted to call and brag. My dogs had 7 sacks against Clemson, and so for everybody that wants to dog against, dog my JT Daniels, my boy, he was throwing to freshman receivers. So please tell me that your ass knows nothing about college football if you have the nerve to dog Georgia's offense and say they weren't good. Tell me what team in college football right now has a receiving corps full of freshmen and is throwing for 300 yards a game. You stupid, no college football knowing fans, and most of you, like I said before, are you Bama fans that don't even have a dental plan, never brush your teeth, okay? I'm not doing it. All of you people that tell me in the comment section that Georgia is not good because they threw for less than 200 yards with straight freshmen, you can shove it. And just know, whatever team you are, we're coming for you, all right? And when we get our guys back, which we will, we're going to whoop that ass. Thank you, Lou.
Yes,
hope
sir.
you have a good
Thank
night,
you.
sir.
Yeah, thank you for the call. It was good to hear from you, per usual. Yes, sir. Jordan Kapler, thank you for hitting the super chat. I really appreciate that. He says, I was grilling some chicken earlier today and I sneezed. Got a notification on my phone that they counted that as a sack on the ukulele. Now, that's alarming, but believable. Shout out to the first caller, too, the Tennessee man. But I do have to point something out, unfortunately, if I can. And I'm pretty sure that I can. Here's what's wrong with Tennessee in a nutshell. Okay? There you go. This is just, you're not going to believe this when you see it. Well, maybe you will. Maybe you will. You might believe it. I don't know. You might believe, hell, you might believe it. Some of y'all believe anything. Let's see. Let's do that. Now, this is wild. Wait till you see this. This is what's wrong. What a damn shame. Good morning. You're on what I'm
Lou, what's up? It's Go Bucks, man.
What's up, buddy?
It's Go Bucks. What's up, man?
What's up?
Hey, man, have you heard that Oklahoma ain't no good and Georgia's offense ain't good and Ohio State don't got a quarterback? Then we got all this talent, but we got a quarterback that hasn't thrown a pass yet.
Right.
You heard all that?
Yeah, no one's any good. No one's any good.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's weird.
Clemson ain't no good.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, you know?
Yeah.
Remember I called up last time, I was talking about teams of consequence, and I guess if you're a team of consequence, man, you get a lot of hate. That's cool though. I'm calling from the most hated fan base in America, man.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State was favored by 13.5, and they only won by 14. Georgia was a 3.5 point underdog and only won by 7. Now Oklahoma, they did crap the bed, no doubt about it. But they crapped the bed last year in the beginning of the season too.
Last year,
but they lost those games. At least at the end of the year, if Oklahoma is in the Big 12 title game, nobody's going to care that they beat Tulane by 5. It's not going to matter. If they'd have lost, it would have mattered. But at the end of the year, it's not going to matter that they beat Tulane by 5.
Hey, Lou.
Yeah.
If you're playing for Oklahoma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they tell you, hey, Tulane, you got to play Tulane first week of the season. Oh, no, Tulane's actually got to come to your place now. What are you doing the night before, man? You're in college. You know, COVID, you were locked down. I know what I'm doing, man. We're going to go out and blast these boys off. I'm going out.
You know, I would buy that more. I would buy that more if the game was in the middle of the season. I find it hard to believe that a bunch of college players will be out running the roads before the first game of the year, no matter what team they were playing. But, of course, anything's possible.
I hear you. But we'll see. I think Oklahoma's going to be fine.
I do, too.
I want you to answer this question, though, because I do kind of feel bad for the Tater right now.
Yeah.
I think they got a legitimate – you know, we've all watched games and we're like, what the hell? It reminds me of when Ohio State was playing Michigan State. I think it was 15. And we had Elliott, and we didn't hand him the ball. And I'm thinking, man, why the hell are you not handing him the ball? And then we got beat by him. Long story, terrible story. Hate to relive it. But why do you think they only rushed the ball that many times? I mean,
why do you think?
If you guys got 7 sacks, look.
They ran the ball 20. They ran the ball, sir. They ran the ball 23 times for 2 yards. 2.
Did they run it 23?
Yeah. The ukulele ran it 14 times.
All right. Well, I stand corrected. Well, yeah, but I'm not talking about that, man. I'm talking about lining it up and running.
Well, yeah, the running backs. The running backs had 9 carries.
Georgia had their damn ears pinned back, man. 9 carries. You can't do that.
The running backs had 9 carries for 24 yards, so 2.5 yards.
And I heard so much about how great this offensive line was, except for, well, we got to switch these centers out. How do you not have a center? I don't understand that, man. I think you got to run it. I think you got to run it more, because if you know, Georgia's sitting there and they're thinking, man, it's pass play. They got their ears pinned back. They're coming for you, you know.
Georgia ran it 8 more times than Clemson did and gained 121 yards.
That surprises me, because I thought Georgia would be able to run the ball a lot better than what they did.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Zeus had 74.
Man, I thought Georgia was going to be.
These are 2 good
Let me ask you this
defenses.
question real quick, and I'll let you go with this one.
Yeah.
You know, UGA, you guys didn't want to talk about, like, if we lost, we're not going to take excuses. I get that. But honestly, that really doesn't make sense to me, because if your players are not on the damn field, I mean, it makes a difference. But
yeah, look, obviously
whatever.
injuries matter. The thing is, in the trash talk world, you can't talk trash, and then if you lose, blame injuries. That's just the unwritten rule.
Right.
Anybody with anything between their ears knows that injuries matter. I mean, you know, that's why Clemson lost to Notre Dame. I mean, Clemson lost to Notre Dame because they had injuries at linebacker position, period.
But look, after you win, you can actually say the truth, okay, about what's going on here.
Yeah, the truth is that here's who caught passes for Georgia.
You don't think Georgia would have scored more points if they had all their players?
Of course.
They had all freshmen catching passes.
I know.
You said that. I mean,
this is who caught passes. Brock Bowers, freshman. Jay Johnson. I don't know who that is. Marcus Rosemy, Jack Saint, redshirt freshman. McConkey, walk on. Jermaine Burton, sophomore. Arian Smith, sophomore. No Karis Jackson, no Dominic Blaylock, no George Pickens, no Darnell Washington, no Eric Gilbert. Those are the 4 best pass catchers on the team. Now, everybody was amazed. Everybody was blown away that Alabama lost their number 1 receiver last year and could still complete a pass. People were amazed. Oh, my God, how's Alabama doing this on offense without one of their wide receivers?
But they still had Jalen Waddle.
Right. What if Jalen Waddle was out, and Devontae Smith, and John Mechie, and their tight end? Then what?
Right. That's what I'm saying. But we can all sit back today and think, I think everybody would say, hey, if Georgia had their whole starting offense, it would have been even worse, okay?
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you, though, is, like, you get that pass, but yet we talk about the Ohio State defense, okay? We got our top 2 corners out of the game, man. Nobody even mentions it. You don't even hear about that. I mean, Sevyn Banks is a player, man. He's a guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you're talking about your top 2 corners, it's the first time in Ohio State history that we started a freshman corner.
Right.
And Ohio State, our defense has been questionable, okay? but we always produce great DBs, man. I mean, you can go back, Lou. So for that not to be the case, it's like, I don't know, man.
Ohio State's going to be fine. Ohio State's going to be fine.
Come back.
They're going to beat the bejesus out of Oregon this weekend. And
I don't think so.
And then,
and then they get some, some little bumps, and then we'll see what happens. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. What's your right now? My top 4 is Georgia, Bama, Clemson, Ohio State.
In that order?
I think you guys will play. No. Well, it'll be Bama number 1.
Okay.
But I think you guys will lose to them in the SEC championship.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with that doesn't have anything to do with a week 1 ranking, does it?
No.
Okay.
It's just gameplay. I mean, if you're looking at Bama versus Georgia, I think they beat you right now. I think they beat everybody right now.
Bama would beat anybody tomorrow, no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They don't play anybody tomorrow.
Looking at it,
they don't play anybody tomorrow, though.
Right, I understand that.
Right.
And I'm welcome for all comers come to playoffs. I hope we draw you guys. I think it'd be a good game because I think we're gonna have the best offense in college football, and I think you guys got the best defense hands down. So it'd be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, man. I'll let you go.
All right, buddy.
Appreciate the show. Hey, I'll listen to the show all the time. Hey, check out the morning show, you guys.
Yes.
On the other channel. It's good. Yeah. So.
All right, buddy.
All right, college football.
Thanks for the call, buddy.
All right, later.
Good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yeah,
brag or cry, though?
Yeah, brag. What's going on, Lou? It's the Spelling Bee man checking in for the first time in a while.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much, man. I just wanted to come on here for a few minutes and brag about how well our dogs did this past weekend and how much Tater Man just disappointed when I told them all off season that they were going to toe to nail.
Yeah.
And of course, they didn't show up.
It's funny. For 8 months, we're going to get humiliated by Clemson. We go out and beat them, and now all anybody can say is, but you're going to lose to Bama in 3 months.
Yeah, people love to ride Bama's nuts once we beat a top tier team. They love to talk about our struggles against Alabama. I mean, a Bama game that we're going to have in 3 months doesn't matter. You're 0-1, Tater Man.
Right.
And what was it? 2 rushing yards, I believe.
Yeah, 2.
Was it 2?
72 inches or so.
Yeah, something like that, and no touchdowns, I believe.
I'm 71 inches.
And then
tall.
Clemson Dabo,
rushed.
And Sunshine.
Clemson rushed for as many yards as I am tall.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. And then, of course, Dabo, his coaching ability doesn't seem to show when Sunshine's not there.
Dabo got outcoached. Yikes.
He did.
Dabo got outcoached by the worst head coach in the history of football, according to Uncle Lou comment section. How does that feel? How does that feel for the Tater Man?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to suck. I mean,
got outcoached by Kirby Dumb.
Yeah, Kirby Dumb. And these same, you have to win a natty to be a good program. It's amazing, isn't it?
God bless the basic and the simple.
Yeah, the basic and the simple and the people that don't look into college football and your casual fans.
Yeah, they love looking at that box score on Sunday, though. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't pay attention to the real stuff. They're just here to talk trash when we lose a close game to a Bama team.
Yeah.
Or when what they think we're going to do in 3 months.
Man, what a shame. All right, Caleb, thank you for the call, buddy. It was good to hear from you. Let me get caught up on these super chats here. Ethan Hewlett says, God bless Harvey Updike. Wow. Go Dogs, Lou. Shout out to Harvey Updike. I believe he passed away a few years ago. Brucus, thank you for the super chat. Name on the Tool song in today's Your Season Is Over video. That's an unreleased early version of a song called Descending that's on Tool's newest album. So if you're familiar with Tool's newest album that came out a couple of years ago, and you know the song Descending, that song I played in today's video is an unreleased early instrumental version of that song. And if you listen to Descending and then listen to the song I played on today's video, you'll hear a lot of the same chords or whatever. Dylan, thank you for the super chat. Oklahoma always loses to a team you never expect. Well, a lot of people expect them to lose to Kansas State because they always lose to Kansas State, but I do get your point. But the thing is, almost every team in America loses to a team you don't expect. Almost everybody every year. This is why they play the games. I mean, if you know, how many teams last year didn't lose a game you thought they would lose? How many teams? Bama. Ohio State. That's it. Troy, thank you for the super chat. Neutral field line, UGA versus Bama and UGA versus OSU. Bama would probably be, I don't know, 7-point favorite over Georgia on a neutral site. UGA versus Ohio State, the line would be way closer than that. I don't know which way. It would probably be less than 3 points one way or the other right now, Georgia and Ohio State on a neutral field, but that's hard to say. I'm not a handicapper, so I don't really know, but that would be my guess. Ben Easterling, thank you for the super chat. He says, we'll be at the game this weekend in Penn State later this year. Good morning, Uncle Lou. That's a good one. Oregon, Ohio State. I love these big games where that you don't see every. I mean, I love the big games we see every year too. You know, like Ohio State and Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. But the non-con games that you don't get to see every year, those are always exciting. So I'm sure you'll have a good time at what is it? The Shoe. Have a good time at the Shoe, the Horseshoe, this weekend when Oregon comes to town. That'll be a good one. Penn State too. Auburn plays at Penn State next week. Another one of those games you don't get to see very often. Davis Painter, thank you for the super chat. He says, I think this has to be considered one of Kirby's best wins because he significantly contributed to the win and severely outcoached Dabo. True. How much was Oklahoma favored against us in the playoffs back in 2017? I feel like it was more than 3 points. Hugh Freeze's burner, thank you for the super chat. Changed my daughter's diaper today, and Clemson's offensive line was in there. It was a steaming pile, huh? Damn. That's a damn shame. It was a steaming pile in there. Yikes. All right. Okay. Oh, let's see what we have here. He says, you really got into Dabo's head with that hype and hate video. You know Dabo saw it because he watches LouTube like he's supposed to. Keep him coming and have a good morning. Thank you, Daniel B. Thank you for hitting the PayPal link. I really appreciate that. It's very generous of you too, sir. I really appreciate you supporting the show. And, yeah, clearly Dabo watches Uncle Lou every day like he's supposed to. And he was mentally defeated by me before that game ever started on Saturday. So I'll happily go ahead and take a little bit of credit. I mean, I get blamed all the time when Georgia loses, every single time. Oh, you shouldn't have ran your mouth. Shouldn't have ran your mouth all week. Now they lost. Shouldn't have made a halftime video. Now they lost. If I get blamed for every loss, I'm taking a little bit of credit for the win. Dr. Berto here. Thank you, Dr. Berto. Again, that was very generous of you, and I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Thank you. One more, and then back to the phones. News from Clemson. DJ nickname changed from Big Cinco to Sacked Siete. Siete. Of course, I don't speak Mexican or pineapple. Oh, I don't speak pineapple, woo! But I think that means 7. I think that means sacked 7, though. Yeah, Big Cinco. Man showed up, looked like a broke Cam Newton. Nice top hat, by the way. And by nice, I mean extremely alarming. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. Stephen Roberts here. How are you?
Doing good, Steven. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. I just wanted to call and let everybody know that my thoughts and prayers are going out with all the people of South Carolina who've lost their internet connection since Saturday evening.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. There were so many people for like 3 months telling me how we're going to lose by 30 or 40 points. And now, weird, they've all lost cell phone reception. They've all lost internet. It's the craziest thing.
It
so
is.
My thoughts and prayers are with them. I hope the internet comes back soon.
Me too. Thank you for the call, sir. Thoughts and prayers. I don't know what's going on with the internet situation in Clemson, South Carolina, but I'm sure they're working on it. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. This is Edward calling, and how you doing on this awesome Tuesday night?
Yeah, doing good, Edward. And I know it was yesterday, but I wanted to wish you a happy Rosh Hash Browns.
Oh, yeah, Rosh Hashanah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
What's it called?
I got back late. Sorry about that.
What's it called?
It's Rosh Hashanah.
Isn't that what I said?
You said Russia's hash browns. That's funny.
Oh,
I like that.
Right. Well, in any case, happy Rosh Hash Browns.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take it. Well, anyway, I was wondering if it's okay if I could maybe do a little trash talking tonight since Miami lost.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, hey, Alonzo, Hurricane T2Y, football's almost back. Oh, yeah, it already is back. And guess what? Miami's getting the absolute soul beat out of them week 1 versus Alabama. Oh, already happened. Game happened. Alabama kicked your teeth in. Oh, it's going to be a boat race. Oh, guess who won the boat race? 18-time national champions. Alabama wins the boat race. So why don't you two, Hurricane Alonzo, T2Y, why don't you guys stop making videos on how they pull this unbelievable upset, because it ain't happening. Miami is overrated garbage. Miami isn't about to shock the world. You Miami fans must spend too much time at the beach warping your brain in the heat, because your expectations are worse than Tennessee's. Hey, at least they're in the SEC. You're not. Miami, if you were even in the SEC, you'd be just as bad as Tennessee, even if you joined it. So, Alonzo, why don't you stop complaining about Miami's defense? All right? Oh, and you, Hurricane T2Y, Georgia was 13 in the national title game, not 25, dumbass. And that's the bottom line, because I said so.
I do feel the need to point out that you did call in to clown Miami, which is fine. I do feel the need to point out, for those that don't know, that you're a Florida State fan. But thank you for the call, Edward, and sorry for your loss as well, as you got humiliated by Rudy on national television. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. It's Tougher Billy Paul.
Hey, Paul. What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
You calling to apologize to me?
Well, I actually will give you credit, and you're right. I will say it out loud to everybody. I don't run that. You're right.
And I want to say, too, that for the record, I'm all for pranks and practical jokes. I do not condone what happened to you Saturday evening. I would have been irate if somebody did that to me and took pictures and videos and posted it all over. I would be furious. So
it's Raj.
Yeah.
I can't do
what
that.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
You know that.
I know.
You know. Yeah. I have to give deference to somebody like him. I wouldn't get mad at him.
Yeah.
But that being said, I will. I'm here to cry and seriously, not in a joking way. I feel really sorry for the Clemson program when you don't have a coach that can figure out how to play call and don't know how to get a damn offensive line up to speed. Seriously.
So Clemson got out coached, is what you're saying. Clemson got out coached by Kirby.
Well, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this out loud, because I said stuff before, and everybody, Kev Dog will give me hell if I don't tell you this. I used to say Kirby couldn't coach up any players. Well, it's not Kirby; it's the whole program, right? Kirby's just one part of it. He's a key part. But
hold on now. Hold on.
Georgia.
Hold on. When Georgia craps to bed, no one says, "Wow, Georgia's position coaches are terrible." They say Kirby can't coach. So when Georgia wins a game like this, then I need Kirby to get credit. If Kirby's going to get the blame, Kirby has to get the credit. And no one's harder on Kirby than me. No one's harder on Kirby than me. But he outcoached Clemson. You're right. Clemson got outcoached.
Yeah, and he say they don't develop players like I did before. I was wrong, and I'm gonna tell you that on right here. He had those guys ready to go, and they were ready to roll. And good news for Georgia. I think if they can get their offense together. Now it pisses me off because Clemson couldn't get their act together on offense, and there's going to be some changes. Nobody wants to say it out loud too much, but there's going to be changes. But Georgia did good. I mean, they really did. That was good. That's a good win for them. So I'm crying a little bit, but I'm also happy that at least you and Dick and some of my other brothers who are Georgia fans, y'all got a win, and that's big.
And also,
anyway,
true is Clemson 1-3 in their last 4 big games? Yes or no?
Oh, they sucked in the last 3 games. They lost to Alabama.
They lost to Georgia. They lost to Ohio State. They beat Notre Dame in the ACC title game, but they lost in the playoffs the year before that. So just so we're clear on the record, Clemson is 1-3 in their last 4 big games.
Yeah, what I call serious games.
Because Georgia can't win a big game, but at least Clemson is 1-3.
Well, yeah. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There's some serious changes coming. Oh, they better be.
Well, the changes is that Clemson's going to score 40 points per game. I mean, I don't know.
ACC.
Well, I mean, I get that, but you only can play who's on your schedule. I mean, I'm not going to pretend Clemson has the toughest schedule on earth, but if you play Duke, you're supposed to score 40 or 50 points. That's what Clemson will do. They're not going to beat Duke 20-10. That would be a problem.
You play Ohio State, you play Oklahoma, you play Georgia, you play Alabama, you play LSU. What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, that's my only argument. I'm crying a little bit.
I understand.
But I'm really pissed about it. You know that. But that being said, I had to call in and just do the crying thing because I am crying. I'm a little pissed off about it, to be honest. But that's okay. We'll get there. Maybe. Who knows? But good luck to the Dogs. Really am.
Thanks, Paul. And it looked like y'all had a great time over at Roger's house. I hope you'll be able to make it to something like that one of these days.
We did. It was too good.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Take care, man.
All right, buddy. Thanks for the call.
All right. Bye.
Tater Man calling in to offer up his apologies to Uncle Lou, which I gladly accept. However, Billy Paul is a good guy. Good morning, but you're on with Uncle Lou, though. Also in addition to that as well.
Morning, Uncle Lou. Calling in to cry a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Because as a Tennessee fan, I'm mortified by Georgia's front seven.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be horrendous.
Yes.
Horrendous to watch.
Yes.
And also, I just, do not feel confident after this Bowling Green game going into Pitt whatsoever.
If I had to pick the game right now, I'd pick Pitt too. I don't think it's going to be one of these 30-point win or something where, some kind of hugely embarrassing loss. I mean, I think Pitt probably wins the game, but I think Tennessee can be competitive. I mean, having it at home is a big advantage, obviously. So we'll see. It's an early game. Sometimes teams start off slow in early games. We'll see how it goes, but I think it's going to be a good game. I think Pitt's only favored by 2 or 3 points.
Right. I don't think it really helped the coach to open his mouth and saying that Neyland was just going to be like a whole nother, just like every other home crowd game. Say what you will about the Tennessee football program, playing in Neyland is a hostile environment.
Right. There's nowhere you can play
obviously
outside of Clemson in the ACC that comes anywhere close to the environment of Tennessee or most any other SEC stadium. You're right about that.
Right. And one thing, the last thing I want to add, if Cincinnati goes undefeated and Clemson wins out, if Cincinnati gets that playoff bid.
That would be interesting. That would be because in order for Cincinnati to win out, they'll have wins over Indiana, which some people thought was going to be good. Looks now like they're terrible because they got blown out. But they have Notre Dame on the schedule,
I
too.
thought they were going to be good, too.
Cincinnati needs Notre Dame to have a good year because they need something to point to. They really need Notre Dame to be in the top 10 at the end of the year. That's really what Cincinnati needs. But that would be an interesting argument, a 13-0 Cincinnati. That would be 2 straight undefeated regular seasons. They would have 2 Power 5 wins. Or do you put in Clemson with the 1 loss? That would be interesting if that's what it came down to for the 4 and 5 slot. That would be interesting.
Right. Just because, I mean, what was it, the top 3 teams in the ACC all lost this weekend? I mean, does that affect Clemson's bid? I mean, really? I mean, because, North Carolina, which I haven't really looked at Clemson's schedule, so I don't know exactly who all they play as far as the ACC goes. I don't really watch anything other than SEC football. But
yeah. I still think
with North Carolina losing.
Yeah, it's not good for Clemson that those teams lost necessarily, but I still think that Clemson has built up enough clout. I mean, they've made the playoffs every year. I feel like they've probably built up enough clout that if they end up 12-1 with an ACC title, they're probably going to get in.
Right.
If I had to bet on it right now, Oklahoma 12-1, do they get in or not? I would bet yes, they get in at 12-1. Obviously, it depends on Cincinnati and what happens in some other conferences. But if I had to bet on it right now, I would say a 12-1 Clemson with an ACC title would get in.
All right. Yeah. I mean, and, letting Oklahoma off the hook a little too easy, too. I mean, they barely beat Tulane this weekend, so they might not win out this year either. I thought they were going to have a good defense this year.
Yeah. I guess my pushback against that would be that they've had way worse defenses than they have now and still managed to run through the Big 12 and make the playoff before getting humiliated in round 1. If the defense stays like what we saw in week 1, though, I don't see how anybody could have any confidence in Oklahoma going all the way because it looked like the same old on defense. It was really bad.
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. It was good to hear from you. Talk to you again soon, I'm sure. Let's see where we left off here with the Super Chats. Ethan Hewlett, thank you for the Super Chat. Went to my local Pet Boys today and wore a Northern Illinois shirt. They didn't seem too happy. Who knows why? Probably because the service manager was a Georgia Tech grad. That was a good comment, too. Stephen Roberts, thank you for the Super Chat. The reason Clemson lost is because the ukulele was so tired. Every time I looked at the TV, he was laying on the ground trying to catch up on sleep. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Clemson offense. I'm going to be honest. I don't. I think Clemson will score 40 or 50 points this weekend. They'll score 40 or 50 points the weekend after that. They'll score 40 or 50 points the weekend after that. I don't think Clemson's a bad team. I said it in the video today. How rare is it that I compliment a losing team and your season is over? I think Clemson's a good team. I just think Georgia was a little bit better on Saturday. Troy, thank you for the Super Chat. What happened to FSU the last 6 years? Coaching mistakes. Jimbo didn't leave that program in the best position to start with, but then coaching, the Willie Taggart hire was just an absolute disaster. Not only was he a bad coach, he fell off in recruiting. The offensive line was one of the worst in the Power 5. He didn't recruit a quarterback that was any good, and it's hard to overcome that. So we'll see. Now, the Florida State team that I saw this past weekend, that was the best I've seen Florida State look in years. Was it a fluke? Was it an emotional thing because of the Bobby Bowden tribute? Is Notre Dame not as good as they think they are? We'll have to wait another couple of weeks to find out the answers to those questions. But Florida State clearly is better than what they have been the last few years. How much better? Hard to tell. Conscious Mind, thank you for the Super Chat. When Bama versus LSU was a 9-6 game, we heard nothing about offensive struggles. Why does that change when UGA and Clemson play? Well, they're haters. You know? Look, what are they supposed to do? They spent 8 months on this channel telling me Georgia was going to lose by 30. Georgia comes out and wins by 7. So instead of being a man and showing up and just admitting they were wrong and congratulating Georgia on the win, they have to come up with the excuses. It didn't matter how Georgia won that game. It didn't matter what the score ended up being. None of that mattered. If Georgia won the game, the comments were going to be the same afterwards no matter what. Because this has happened to me hundreds of times. You know, every single week, Georgia's losing. Then when Georgia wins, it's all about how the other team was no good or Georgia got lucky. That's it. It's the same. It's been this way for 6 years, so I'm not surprised at all. I couldn't be any less surprised. What's the thing from Christmas Vacation? I couldn't be more. If I woke up tomorrow morning with my tongue sewed to the carpet. Kevin Wood, thank you for the super chat. Really hoping our dogs don't pull of a USC junior. I guess you mean lose to a terrible team. Wow, I hope that doesn't happen too. I hope that doesn't happen too. We'll see. We'll see. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Uncle Lou, Tony Kuno.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Oh, what a weekend.
Yeah.
I would just like to say it up front that we played our last football game 251 days ago. Am I allowed to say that? Is that okay? No?
I see what
right.
I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing with the Dan Mullen reference. Nothing gets past me, sir.
Okay. Well, no, that would be the coward's way out.
Right.
But you know what? At the end of the day, we gotta win. We normally lose those games. Like, we were up 37-14 at halftime. We have like the best kicker in the country who had 50-plus yarders. I think he shanks a 31-yarder at the end, which wouldn't have really probably mattered anyway. But oh Lord, it was. I know you watched a little bit of that game. What did you take away from it?
Well, I made the same point you just made at the beginning of today's show. I said, look, last year Oklahoma did this and lost. This year they did it and won. So at the end of the year, if Oklahoma's 13-0 or 12-1 with a Big 12 title, no one's going to care or mention or say anything about the fact that they beat Tulane by 5 points in week 1. If you'd have lost, then yeah, but you didn't lose, so you know you can get it turned around.
I went on Twitter and message boards, and we have to bench Spencer Radler. We have to fire the coaching staff. We have to do all these things because after a win. But no, like I watched that game, and it's just they were up 37-14 at half. I'm like, okay, first quarter they was a little rough, and then that team literally kind of half-assed it in the second half. They thought the game was over.
Yeah,
there were so many plays, and you know how I feel. You know why I feel comfortable about this after everything that happened, because when they absolutely had to make a play, they threw out the first team defense, and that defensive line just shut it down immediately. It's like, okay, now they have to play football now, and they completely shut it down in 4 plays and out, and they win the football game. Yeah, there's a few things they got to correct. Everything's fixable. Our starting center was out till they played him in the fourth quarter because there was like some minor COVID, whatever. But he played in the fourth quarter. The running game got going.
His COVID went away. His COVID went away in the fourth quarter. What great timing!
I know his COVID went away. It was like what a shock.
A modern day miracle.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got cures in Oklahoma apparently. But yeah, it's just. Juice. Yeah, but they'll be on pay-per-view this week, and they'll make a few adjustments, and by the time they play Nebraska, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll give all the credit world to Georgia. I picked Clemson to win that game just because I thought y'all had every excuse in the world to lose that football game. Injuries, missing key players on offense, and just hell of a performance. And I'll tell you what, Clemson needed that football game. I don't care what anyone says. I know people say they're good and they got talent, and I'm all on board with that. But you got that heat shield now, and if by some grace of God you do have one of your games that you have a year like we do, then you have that Clemson heat shield that will protect you down the road. I don't know what Clemson's heat shield is going to be on their schedule right now because I ain't seen it. I don't know what their big win is going to be if it comes down to splitting hairs for playoff.
Yeah,
I know winning the ACC and having one loss to y'all is going to be, but I don't see like a big monumental win potentially on that schedule, and that's scary if you're Clemson. The Big 12 was going to have.
There was a couple of years ago where I forget which team it was, but the team Clemson played in the ACC title game was 7-5. That's what they can't afford to happen. It needs to be a 10-win team that makes the title game from the other side. I think it was 3 seasons ago. Whoever they played in the ACC title game was 7-5. They can't afford to have that happen this year. I think you're right. They need to beat a good team in the ACC title game. By good, I mean at least a 9 or 10 win team that's ranked in the top 15ish.
I think UNCLELOU need to get the transfer portal and transfer over to Fansville permanently and drink some more Dr. Pepper. I think he'll be safer there.
Oh man, don't say that.
He'll be safer.
His check, the Dr. Pepper check ain't even cleared yet.
No.
What a shame.
It's like, oh man, so he's the first casualty of like, oh look, there's a loser getting on a commercial with NIL. He's the first one.
Wow.
But yeah, big congrats on that win. Let me ask you this: like, who's obviously Bama, but like on your schedule right now, like who's the team you're circling of like, okay, we can't overlook.
Well, Florida. I'm a Georgia fan. I mean, Florida's done beat us so many times when we had a better team. It's ridiculous. So I mean, I always look at that game. Outside of that, I mean, Auburn did look better than I thought they would in week 1. So maybe I put them next, but I think we're 13-3 against Auburn the last 16. So I don't know about that either. Kentucky, Mizzou.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
You got your FCS game or whatever this week, like we do. But so, what's the status on like your guys coming back, like Darnell and stuff like that? Who do you expect back soon?
I have a feeling if we were playing an SEC team this week, some of those guys would play. Kyrus Jackson especially, which is kind of weird to me. Kyrus Jackson's healthy enough to return punts, but he's not healthy enough to run a 10-yard out route. Is
he calling fair catches pretty much?
He called a lot, but he returned a few. So I don't know. So he's real close to coming back. Dom Blaylock is real close to coming back. Darnell, they'll probably hold out because his injury is the most recent with the surgery he had to have on his foot. And as far as George Pickens goes, he's at least a couple of months away, in my opinion. Kirby did say today that he's running, but only in a straight line. So he's a couple of months away, in my opinion. But I think we'll get Dom, Kyrus, and Darnell all back by not this week, but next week. And they may play some this week. I don't know, but I think they will be back by the following week when we host South Carolina.
Sounds good. I just want to congratulate, I just want to celebrate our first big-time SEC win over Tulane. Former SEC school, but current in my heart. They play like one. Willie Fritz is a hell of a head coach, and they didn't get the memo they were supposed to lose, and all props in the world. That quarterback of theirs played his ass off, and I'll tell you what, I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're going to be some super team, but I will be keeping an eye. They play Ole Miss. They play Cincinnati. I'll keep an eye on those games, and if they happen to pull off any of those games, I'll be pointing to those games like a kid who sees a tiger at the zoo for the first time. It's like, look at that, look at that, look at that. I mean, my hashtag campaign will be rank Tulane, you cowards.
Yeah.
Rank Tulane.
I hear you.
So that's my one hope I got. But anyway, we're going to be in witness protection this week on pay-per-view, and I'll get to watch everyone else play for the most part. But anyway, good talking to you again, Lou.
You too, buddy. I'll
Congrats
talk to you again
win.
soon. Yeah, Oni Kuno checking in there. He's an Oklahoma fan. He has a YouTube channel. He's been doing it for a long time. You guys can check him out. Keith in the comment section says UGA grad from the West Coast, and he went to the LSU UCLA game. Do you think Chip Kelly is back? Look, UCLA's played 2 games. They looked good in both games. I don't care that they played Hawaii in week 0. They beat the bejesus out of them, and if you watched the game, they looked good. And no one wanted to buy in. They said, well, LSU is going to beat them, and they beat LSU, and it wasn't a fluke. If I said in the video earlier today, if LSU and UCLA played again tomorrow, who would you pick to win? I'd pick UCLA to win again. It wasn't a fluke. So, and LSU is one of the toughest games on their schedule because they play in the Pac-12. Now, we'll see how good Southern Cal is. Arizona State, Utah, Oregon, and Washington don't look nearly as good right now as they did in the preseason after their struggles this past weekend. So I think it's going to come down to probably that Southern Cal game. But I do think they're a good team. I definitely think they're a good team. B-Dog, thanks for the super chat. Can you go to Ready to See Dog's UGA stream and click on my timestamp in the comments? Well, I'm not going to do that now. What he did a UGA stream? I'll have to try to find that if I can. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou.
Yeah, good morning.
The name Kevin. I called in a few weeks ago.
Yes.
I talked about the Georgia-Clemson game, so I'm of course here to brag. We won the line of scrimmage clearly. I think that was fairly obvious. 2 rushing yards, man. That's insane.
It's pitiful.
But in all honesty, what a great game. Even though at the end I thought we were going to pull have another Georgia moment there, but we finished it off, and great win, and we got to finish the rest of these games. I mean, go week by week. Still not comfortable, of course. Want to be nervous for every game, even UAB, who's no slouch. I mean, UAB is, for what they are, I mean, they're a pretty good team.
Look,
I mean, we're not going to lose to them, obviously, but I mean, you don't want to.
But we have, not, was it 13 years ago? So, I mean, it's not like it's impossible. I think it was 06,
yeah, so,
2006, or 2007. Anyway, it was they beat us before. I do know that, but I don't expect them to beat us this time.
So,
I hear what you're saying.
No, and overall, just your honest opinion on JT Daniels and really what you think he's going to bring for us. What do you?
I think he's going to bring the same thing he brought last year. I said on here 2 weeks before the game that I had been hearing from people which everyone always claims to be in the know, but I had heard from several people that the Georgia game plan against Clemson was going to be the same type of game plans we used in 2017, which is run, dink and dunk the ball with high percentage passes. And that's what ended up happening. Now, why they decided to do that against Clemson, I don't know. And Kirby's lucky Georgia won the game with that game plan, because had Georgia lost the game with that game plan, he would have been murdered in the media and on social media and by the fans and by everyone else, because we're tired of losing games with that kind of offense. Now, since Georgia ended up winning, he looks like a genius and he gets a pass on it. But I mean, if I put the over-under on number of passing yards this weekend for JT Daniels at 275, I would take the over on that. I'm not worried about JT Daniels at all. I saw him throw for over 300 yards 3 out of the 4 times he took the field last year. Yeah. I'm not concerned.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at it all, I mean, he played a pretty good game other than that for what the offense was putting out there. I mean, he did his job. He had that one interception, but I think that wasn't really JT being dumb. I just think that was a very nice play made by the Clemson defender there. JT thought he was going to have, I think it was Robinson open on the curl route, and he thought the linebacker was going to the tight end. He came in and, kind of fooled him there. But yeah, I'd say JT did his job. And like you said, I think JT has a great game this week. Everyone's writing him off that he's overrated. He's not that good. Do I think JT Daniels will win the Heisman? 100% brutally honest? No, I don't think so.
No way. No.
If Daniels can just, like I said, we've been dying for. We need a quarterback who can win us games.
Right.
And we saw it last year with Daniels. He won us games. He won us that Peach Bowl with that final drive. He had 300 yards on that Cincinnati defense. And let me tell you something, guys. If you're not watching Cincinnati, you better get on it now. They are serious, dude. And like you said, I think they have a legit shot at the playoff. And Daniels went for 300 yards. And to be honest, that was one of Daniels' worst games he played, in the 4 games he played.
Right.
So, yeah, I think we'll be okay. We're getting these guys back. Obviously, had 100 receivers out, offensive weapons. I'm pretty sure we should get everybody. I don't know what's going on with Eric Gilbert. I understand. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to get into it. That's his life. But we'll see about him. But Darnell should be back, of course. Kieras, Jermaine Burton, all these guys. And, yeah, so I'll have this question. I'll hang up. Who right now second in the East right now? Because if I'm being honest, I'm going to give it to Kentucky since they now have a passing game, it looks like.
Yeah,
Have a good morning.
thank you for the call. If I'm going just off of week 1, I think Kentucky looked like the second best team in the East. I still would not pick Kentucky to finish second in the East, though. But they definitely looked like the second best team in the East in week 1. Mommy's Toy says, same old UGA, good defense, no offense. Here's a football ignorant comment here. Everybody pay attention to this football ignorant person. Same old UGA. UJ had almost the same amount of punt yards as total offense. UJ won the game. So why aren't you talking about Clemson's offense? Tell me, let's get your let's get your genius insight into Clemson's offense, sir, because if Georgia's offense was terrible, then I'd love to hear what you have to say about Clemson's offense. They rushed for 2 yards. The ukulele completed 50% of his passes. JT Daniel completed 70%. Football ignorant. Georgia was without its top 4 pass catchers. That's, and believe me, I'm not. The only reason I'm singling you out is because you had the balls to super chat that ignorance. But there's plenty of people who are just as stupid as that. Believe me. El Duderino, good to see you in here. He says, as a fighting Texas Aggie, we are happy as we are missing defensive starters and all of our offensive weapons, including King, who ran a 4.41 40-yard dash. Wow. Yeah, the only thing about that is he threw some interceptions, didn't he? Which you see that from first-year quarterbacks. So I don't think that's necessarily a reason to be concerned unless it continues. But you see first-time starters make mistakes like that a lot. But I think Texas A&M is going to be a pretty good team. I mean, I think everybody does. Good enough to beat Bama? Find out in a few weeks. Bama's got to go there and play. I think it'll be a good game. We'll see what happens. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, what's up, Uncle Lou? It's Texas T6 Central.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I just called to talk a little trash, like I always do. Hey, Oklahoma looked great at number 2. I think they deserved it. I also think that they deserve, what are they at? Number 5, 4, what are they ranked?
Who?
I didn't check the poll. OU.
What, now or last week?
Now.
They're
5?
They're 4.
Great, yeah, they deserve that. I think they should have fallen out of the top 10, actually.
I think it's Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma right now.
Yeah. I'm sorry for Spencer Rattler because I think his Heisman chances are over as well. But I feel even more sorry for the OU fans because this is their life, They don't have really anything else going for them.
Well,
so
I'll agree with you that if Spencer Rattler plays every game like he played this past one, he won't win the Heisman. But I don't think anybody's ever lost the Heisman in week 1.
Well, just depends on if they struggle against Western Carolina. Those they play.
Well, give me your top 4 Heisman candidates.
Let's see.
Yeah, exactly. Bryce Young, Spencer Rattler, and then you're throwing darts after that. I bet you if I looked up the Heisman odds right now, Spencer Rattler would be second. You there? Oh, he dropped the call. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah, I had a great weekend as well. Celebrating that Georgia win was amazing against Clemson. I don't care how it was. I don't care the score. We'd be the top 13. That's how I was looking at it in my mind, at least.
Yeah, those are 2 top 5 teams, and Georgia won. Nothing else matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Yeah, and I think one reason why we were playing conservative play calling in that game is because Clemson was playing the soft zone, and Kirby explained in his press conferences that's why he dumped the ball.
That's one of the reasons. I mean, 99% of the games that Georgia has played since 2017, teams have put 8 people in the box and dared us to throw it because we had garbage cans like Stetson Bennett and Jake Fromm playing quarterback. Clemson did the opposite. They played two deep safeties 99% of the time, and basically dared Georgia to run the ball because the strength of Clemson's defense is its front seven. So Clemson played to its strength. They wanted Georgia to run the ball and dink and dunk, and so that's what Georgia did. Now, if we had never seen JT Daniels do what he did in the last 4 games last year, I would be way more concerned than I am now. But we beat a top 5 team in week 1 with our top 4 pass catchers not playing. I don't have, and no one, there ain't a person on earth that has spent more hours complaining about Georgia's offense than Uncle Lou. There ain't. I've got video evidence to back up my claim. I have spent hours complaining about Georgia's offense. I don't have a reason to complain right now because I know I've seen JT Daniels do it, and I understand why Georgia ended up doing what they did in this game. And guess what? It worked. So I don't have any. I don't have any complaints. Or my only concerns about Georgia's offense are the same concerns I had heading into the Clemson game. When can these players come back? And can they stay healthy? That's it. I don't have a concern about Georgia's ability to throw the ball deep, throw for a lot of yards, or throw to win a game. I don't have any concerns about any of those things.
Well, I think we ran the ball great, and I think Zamir White got a lot better over the offseason. So
yeah, he had 5 yards a carry. That. 5 yards a carry against the best defense we'll play in the regular season. If we play Alabama, maybe Alabama's front 7 is a little bit better than Clemson's, but it's not light years ahead. I mean, Alabama might be the first or second best defense. Clemson's a top 3 or 4 defense, especially when you talk about front 7. And Zamir White averaged 5 yards a carry. So, I mean, I don't have any complaints.
Yeah, well, I mean, Clemson claimed that their defensive line was so good, but I was pointing out the Notre Dame Ohio State game.
Clemson's defensive line is elite.
Well, it is good. It is.
Clemson is an elite team. I don't understand. I'm going to have to let you go because it's nothing you did. It's just a combination of things. I don't understand the general philosophy that says, well, this team lost, so they're no good. There ain't a person on planet Earth that can name me 5 teams better than Clemson, because there ain't 5 teams better than Clemson. What you gonna tell? Who would win tomorrow, Clemson or Iowa State? Anybody that says Iowa State is out of their damn mind. Who else is in the top 10? Notre Dame? Clemson would beat Notre Dame like they owed them money. I don't get it. There's only 2 possible explanations. Explanation number 1, elementary trolling. Explanation number 2, completely fucking football ignorant. There's no other possible explanation. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Lou, sir, how are you?
Hey, Alabama's no good because Louisiana Tech held you to 0, but you somehow scored. What'd you score on Bama?
What did we score, 13?
Yeah, so Bama is terrible because they gave up 13 points to Miami. This is how this works in the Uncle Lou comment section. Bama's terrible. Louisiana Tech didn't give up a single point to Miami. How's that
You mean because the best defense in the nation probably stopped him? That doesn't make D'Eriq King one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the country?
Yeah, it's the same thing. D'Eriq King all of a sudden now is terrible because Miami lost to Alabama by 40. Almost everyone loses to Alabama by 40. I don't understand.
Hey, we lost to Alabama by less than Ohio State did, so I'm going to hang my hat on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not.
But anyway, obviously I can't come in here and brag, but I'm not a crier either. Congratulations to Alabama. Congratulations to the Gums. Y'all beat us. But my game-by-game prediction for Miami is still intact. I said 11-1. That was our one. We'll see how it goes the rest of the way.
I agree. I don't understand. Whatever anyone's opinion of Miami was before the Alabama game, I don't know why it would change now. Why would it be any different? I mean, I was pretty sure. I said it for 8 months. Nothing. I said, look, Miami win 10, maybe 11 games, but they're going to lose to Alabama by 30 because Alabama's going to beat almost everybody by 30. That doesn't change.
Now, I have a question.
Miami's not worse today than they were on Friday. They're the same.
Exactly. Now, this brings up an interesting question because Clemson only rushed for 2 yards and Miami rushed for over 100. Does that make Miami a better team than Clemson?
Yes, this is how it works in the UNCLELOU comment section. Yes, that's exactly how it works. Georgia and Clemson went from being 2 top 5 teams, and one of them, Clemson, was going to beat Georgia by 30. That was the story a week ago. To now, both teams are terrible and likely going 0-12 and have no offense. You can't make this shit up.
Yeah, well, because Miami lost by 28 points, we're going 0-12 as well. Even though, more than likely we won't see a team of that caliber again until the ACC championship game if we make it there.
Yeah, no, you definitely aren't going to see another team of that caliber until you make it to the ACC championship game, without question. Yeah.
And you know, I'm hearing the same thing out of Miami fans. Garrett King completed almost 70% of his passes. Yeah, he threw a couple of picks, but if you actually watch the game, they were popped up by receivers. I tend to not put those on any quarterback that happens to. So there's 2 of his incompletions out of 7.
Here.
2 of them were pass interferences.
Here's a list of teams that are going winless the rest of the season. Oklahoma, Georgia, Clemson, and Miami. All right, that's 4 teams. How many games total are those 4 teams going to lose in the regular season? Total.
3? I
3?
don't see Clemson losing another. Miami may lose 1. Oklahoma, maybe they stumble somewhere. Because, I mean, everybody tends to stumble somewhere.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, high end 3 games combined.
Yeah. I mean, so I just don't understand. I know overreacting is what people do. Hell, I do it. But the overreacting I've seen after this past weekend's games is on a whole other level. And not just about Georgia and Clemson, about Oklahoma, about Miami. Hell, there's people that think Ohio State is terrible. The Ohio State line was 13.5. They won by 14. They exceeded expectations. I don't understand. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, I could see the argument being made about Ohio State that normally you would expect even more out of them than what they showed you. I could see that argument.
Well, the betting line is an indication of expectations because it's people who are willing to put their money where their mouth is. And people who were willing to put their money where their mouth is thought Ohio State was 13.5 points better than Minnesota, and they won by 14.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you know, I look at Ohio State as one of the top 5, at worst 6 programs in the country. Yeah, okay, I don't think it would have been unreasonable to say they win by 3 touchdowns either.
Right. No, I agree.
And if that's what you expect, I could see that argument.
Yeah, they could have played better, but it's week 1. They had a first-time starter at quarterback. They had a freshman running back. Now, Ohio State's got some defensive issues. Now, that's okay to say. But the whole, Ohio State's terrible, Oklahoma's terrible, Georgia's terrible, Clemson's okay. 4 of the top 5 teams in America are terrible. Stop. If we sound silly as shit. Let me ask you. Let me ask everybody. Let me ask everybody this: if Ole Miss gets hot at the right time and beats Alabama 52-50, does Alabama suck in not winning another game the rest of the year? No. Is it possible that happens?
Well, I mean,
yes, of course it's possible. Anything is possible.
Well, like we see every year, Alabama loses to a team that's less talented than they are. Does that mean that they're a bad team because of it? No.
Right. No.
And that's why, okay, we lost to Alabama. They're a more talented team than Miami. I never won, even in all my trash talk, I never once said that Miami was a more talented team than Alabama. I mean, they've got a top 10, 15-ish roster somewhere right in there. So could the possibility of it exist? Yes, of course. You've seen plenty of less talented teams beat them.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't in the cards that day.
Facts. Now, let me ask you this, Slim. Did you watch any of the Michigan State game?
As a matter of fact, I did.
Now, they're better than advertised. Are you at least a little bit more concerned about that game now than you were a week ago?
I'm looking at it more closely, but here's the problem with looking at a week one, and this goes for any week one game, is Michigan State better than we thought, or is Northwestern worse than we thought?
Right. Yeah, those are the things that are hard to tell after week one for sure.
Yeah, and I do think Michigan State is definitely better, but how much better is to be determined, as their schedule goes, as Northwestern's goes. Because Northwestern's one of those teams kind of like NC State. Every 4 or 5 years, they put together a pretty good team. But then they'll turn around and they'll win 4 games in the season.
Somebody in the comment section, when you said Miami has a top 15 roster, somebody said, no, they don't. That's cap. Miami has the 13th most talented roster in America. So, no, Slim Shady was not capping. Slim Shady was educating you. You were capping, Typer. You were capping by saying he was wrong. Slim Shady was correct.
Yeah, I actually tend to look these things up before I say them.
Not the Typer troll. They don't have time for that. Too busy typing.
Now, I'm telling you, my services are out there, people. I can be the troll model you need.
Slim Shady. Slim Shady Canes is the official troll model of LouTube.
I'm going to say this before I go. I know you probably got a bunch of other people calling. Edward, I love your trash dog. I'm not going to get on here and defend Alonso or Pinecone. They're grown men. They can handle themselves. But until you get Daniel Boone off that damn horse, I don't want to hear anything about Miami come out of your mouth again, sir.
You know who Alonso is promoting for head coach now, don't you? He wants Manny gone. You know who he wants as head coach?
I can take a guess, even though I haven't watched him in about a year.
It's who you think it is.
Since I know it. Yeah.
It's Ed Reed.
And
he wants Ed Reed.
I hear this out of him all the time.
He wants Ed Reed. The guy has never even coached a Pee Wee game. He wants Ed Reed as head coach of Miami.
No,
boy, his clown level is 1 million.
You big dummy.
I hear this out of Miami fans more than any other fan base. These great players that have come through, they want them to come back and be a coach. What has Ray Lewis done in his life to make you think that he's a great linebackers coach?
Yeah, I know.
Now, there are some.
There's Georgia fans that are this way, too. They want Hines Ward as wide receiver coach, David Pollock as defensive line coach, Jake Fromm as quarterback coach, on and down the list.
Yeah, and there are some. Lamar Thomas has proved himself as a wide receivers coach. He was there under Bobby Petrino at Louisville when Lamar Jackson was there. Ken Dorsey's proved himself as a quarterbacks coach. If you're going to throw out those names, okay, those guys have a proven track record. Ed Reed spent 1 year as an assistant safeties coach for the Bills and then took this job. Stop. I like Ed Reed. Great player. Like watching the NFL, too. Stop.
Yeah.
Please.
All right, Slim.
Well, I mean, it's like talking to a brick wall with these
things. Oh, I know. All right, buddy. Thanks for calling in, and we'll talk to you again soon. Oh, hey, whoa, don't hang up yet. Did you win the picture thing last week?
I don't know.
Okay, because
I'm not even sure you did it if I remember correctly.
Well, if you got one you want to send it in. You've won so many times, and no one else sent one in, and I couldn't remember who won either. So if you got something you want to send it in. There's no morning shoe tomorrow, but I'll put it up on Thursday or Friday if you find something you want to use.
Yeah, I'll find something. I'll send it to you tomorrow evening.
All right, buddy. Sounds good.
All right.
All right, bye. Slim Shady checking in. Moving right along at a snail's pace. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Morning, Uncle Lou. I
Yes.
wanted to bring it back to brag and cry.
Yes.
Want to brag on behalf of the entire SEC East.
Yes.
Congrats to everybody. Everybody looked good. Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, Missouri, and East Tennessee State University. Congrats to the SEC.
We traded Vandy for East
Have a good
Tennessee.
morning.
All right, thank you for the call. Yeah, Vandy crapped a bet against East Tennessee State there. Yeah, that was good. Oh, boy. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou, though.
Hey, Uncle Lou. This is Kevin from Buford. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Kevin? I'm good. How are you, buddy?
Man, I love listening to you. You're a very, very logical man. I just wanted to come in and brag. Happy Dogs fan here. I will tell you, about 7:20 p.m., I was ready to puke before the game came on due to all my anxiety. But been listening to you and your show. I agree with you, man. We beat the number 3 team in the country. I don't understand these other fans or whoever talks crap about Clemson. Clemson is an elite team with elite players. They can't help the schedule that they play, but they could beat or play with anybody in the country. So this is a huge win for the Dogs. Just wanted to call in and be like, appreciate your logic. Makes sense.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. Now, I'm still totally irrational, but I do appreciate the kind words.
Well,
Thank you for the call. Let's see. Let me catch up on some super chats here. The Mommy's Toys is back at it again. Clemson at least opened up the playbook. And how did that work out? I mean, Clemson lost, but you're giving them, but they did the right thing, though, right? Clemson did the right thing, but they lost, though. But what they did was right. At least they opened up play. UJ only threw at or behind the line of scrimmage. Well, that's not true. They mostly threw at or behind the line of scrimmage. They didn't only throw at or behind the line of scrimmage. Did it work? Yes. Which gets us back to the point from earlier. Kirby out-coached Dabo. Now let's get to this last point you make, which is the most idiotic of all. UJ will have 2 or 3 losses playing like they did on Saturday. Sir, I don't know if you've got one of Mommy's toys stuck in each one of your ears. The point is, they're not going to play like that the rest of the year. They didn't have any wide receivers or tight ends, sir. True freshman tight end. Okay? 3 freshmen or redshirt freshman wide receivers. That's why they played that way. Okay, try to understand that if you can. Okay? This is like let's say you have let's just pick I'm going to make an obvious example here because it's got to be obvious for it to get through your thick skull. Okay? Let's say you've got a football team and college version Cam Newton is your quarterback. Okay? And he gets hurt. And your backup is Jake Fromm. Do you run the same offense? Here's your answer. No. No. Why? Doesn't have the ability. Do I need to do this? Does it make better sense if I do that? Clint Eastwood, thank you for the super chat. God bless the dogs in these United States in 2. Yes. Yes, there you go, one of those. There you go. Thank you, Clint Eastwood. Landon Gosnell says, Ole Miss QB probably going to be a Heisman contender. Facts, if he keeps playing like that. Now, here's what he's got to do. He can't turn the ball over. I believe he had 11 interceptions last year in 2 games. He had 6 in one game and 5 in another or something. He's got to cut that out. Because if it happens at the wrong time, it's going to cost him a game eventually. Cost him last year. You can't throw 6 interceptions and win a game. You can't. But he's going to put up ridiculous numbers in that Lane Kiffin offense, no doubt about it. One thing that might hurt his Heisman chances would be the number of losses Ole Miss ends up with, right? If they lose to Alabama, Texas A&M, and name whatever other team, and they're sitting there at 9-3, let's say Ole Miss is at 9-3 and Bama's at 12-0, and Matt Corral's numbers are a little bit better than Bryce Young's. You know how that's going to go, because the Heisman Trophy anymore isn't given to the best player in college football. It's given to the best player in college football on the best team, whoever the best team is. It's not like it used to be when, what's the guy's name from Ohio State, wasn't it, won the Heisman and they were 6-6 or something like that. That kind of stuff just doesn't happen anymore. LSU Scooter, thank you for the super chat. But Matt Corral's got legit talent, and I would put him third right now. If you're talking Bryce Young, Spencer Rattler, Matt Corral, those would be my 3 right now. Ole Miss QB probably going to be a Heisman contender, yeah. LSU Scooter says, since LSU is sucking, can Georgia dethrone Bama? First of all, we don't even know if that game's going to be played. Bama has only won the West 2 of the last 4 years, so we'll see what happens. But that game's 3 months away. I'm definitely not spending the next 3 months talking about the SEC championship game. I'm just not going to do it. Oh, Lord, Mommy's Toys. When people tell you who they are, you should listen. UGA, great, amazing defense, bottom tier offense, year after year under Kirby. Okay. Where do these people come from? Where do these people come from? Bottom tier offense. Landon Gosnell says, seeing how LSU started the season, does the Gators beat them in Death Valley? That's an interesting question. Clearly, LSU did not impress against UCLA. However, I wasn't that impressed with Florida either. Dan Mullen has chosen the wrong quarterback yet again. I don't understand. Dan Mullen chose – look, never forget, Dan Mullen started Felipe Franks not 1 year but 2 years in a row over Kyle Trask. I'll never understand that. And now he's playing Emily Jones ahead of Anthony Richardson. Emily Jones completed 50% of his passes, turned the ball over. He didn't play good at all. Dan Mullen comes out this week right on cue and says, I don't want to hear it. Emily Jones is a starter, period. Stop asking me. So I wasn't impressed with them either. They probably looked a little bit better than LSU, but LSU has had Florida's number lately. I think Florida is 3-7 against LSU in the last 10 years. It's something like that. So we'll see. And like you mentioned, they have to play there. So LW, thank you for the super chat. Will's Wolverine report says, do you see Ohio State having another runaway victory against Michigan again this year? Too early to look at a score prediction, but there's almost got to be something wrong with you at this point to pick Michigan to beat Ohio State. It just, at least for me anyway, I don't know that I can ever pick Michigan to beat Ohio State again until I see them do it one time. The truth hurts. I love my dogs. Kirby needs to go. Hey, Mark Rick doesn't miss you, sir. Let it go. I thought the Rick bots had died off. Not this one here. Not this one. Kirby needs to go. Averaged 34 points a game last year. Bottom tier offense. Man. There's no question about who the dumbest person in the comment section is today, is there? No. Kentucky No Sucky. That's a great name. That's a great YouTube name you got there, Kentucky No Sucky. Kentucky does a great job of showing off backup QBs for Florida, so Emily Jones won't be the starter for too long. Yeah, that was the game where Felipe Franks got hurt and Kyle Trask came in, took over from there. But then he turned around and started Felipe Franks the next year. So, what are you going to do? No, that was the year before. Never mind. But, yeah, Kentucky No Sucky. Kirby needs to go. Mark Rick doesn't miss you, dude. Let it go, man. Let it go. Damn. I thought the Rick bots had died off. Hey, been a long time since I've seen a Rick bot. Fire Kirby. Jesus Christ. Somebody better come get you before you swallow your tongue. God almighty. Fire Kirby. Go Dogs, fire Kirby. I can't with you people. Jesus Christ. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Morning, Lou. Guinness Dog here. How about them dogs?
Man, how about them dogs, son?
Man, that was a great game.
It was a great game.
All the credit in the world to Clemson. It was a great game. Like the only knock I got on the offense or anything throughout the entire game is like I understand the whole passing behind the line of scrimmage because literally we've got brand new people everywhere. Brock Bowers, dudes, he might be a stud. Like he definitely stepped up to the challenge, and I appreciate it. Oh, it was wonderful to watch. Hopefully he can become more explosive, depending on what happens with Eric Gilbert and all his mess. But I hope he comes back. But the only thing I wish Kirby would just ball up and throw away out of the playbook is the shotgun running. Like it does work sometimes, but the 90% of the times I've seen it, I just can't stand it. Like they started moving the ball really well.
That's not going away. 99% of the football teams on planet Earth run nothing but shotgun, so that's just not going away. The I formation ain't coming back.
Well, and I'm not saying that like the strict like power I needs to come back. Like I get that, but like when we started like later in the game, we started running like a normal running offense, like Zeus and everybody really started to get cooking. We started moving the ball down the field. And then
it's always easier to run the ball the last 5 minutes of the game than it is the first 5 minutes of the game. I mean, Georgia's been doing that for 5 years, leaning on people all game long and then running it down their throat in the fourth quarter. It doesn't have anything to do with the quarterback being under center.
Well, personally, just when I see that, I cringe.
I mean, and that's fine, but it's not going away. Georgia's not suddenly going back to a 1988 offense. It's just not happening. Georgia's going to continue to run a modern day offense, no matter who it pisses off.
No, and I get that, and I want that. Like my biggest ask for Kirby this year is I want him to hurt feelings. Like I don't care who we're playing, what the score is. Like every time we go out there, like score touchdown, fuck it, go for two. Like I want them to finally put respect on Georgia's name, because even after the Clemson game, no one's talking about it. They're like, yeah, their defense was good, and then that was it. But if Georgia had lost, oh God, it would be on 24-hour news. Like it like Kirby's no good, Kirby can't win big games. Like if that had been like nothing against Dabo, but they just don't give Georgia any respect. And I don't know what else we have to do. Like we beat Clemson, a top 5 team, in the first game of the week, like with half a team, more or less, like offensively.
Nothing's going to change the mouth breather's mind.
Man up mentality.
Nothing's going to change the mouth breather's mind about Georgia, short of winning a national title. That's it. Nothing else. Thank you for the call. Doesn't matter what Georgia does. Until they win a national title, these same type of trolls are going to make the same comments over and over again, like this guy here, CC. Do you think Georgia's defense deserves credit for what happened, or was Clemson's offense making them look good? The ukulele has 2 starts and 800 yards passing in those 2 starts. 800. He averaged 400 a game passing last year. Justin Ross is an NFL receiver. I mean, Clemson's... I mean, come on. Stop. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. How you doing today?
Doing great.
All right. So this is Sooner Ace, by the way. Oklahoma fan. You know who I am.
Yeah.
Just wanted to call in today, bring back brag or cry. I kind of want to brag and cry a little bit. I'm sure you can understand why. I want to brag. My team got the win, but honestly, that's really all there is to brag about. But I do want to congratulate your dog, man. You guys proved a lot of people, myself included, wrong. You had, like you've addressed a million times, you were down to walk-on wide receivers, and you still came out and took care of business. So all the props in the world to y'all. I do want to come on here today, however, and just express my disgust a little bit for the overreactions I'm seeing in week 1.
It's insane.
And I know college football is a world of overreacting. I get it. I've been involved in the college football community for years now. But imagine if we judged everything off of week 1 of the college football season. Take last year, for example. I'm a Big 12 guy, so I'm going to use Iowa State as an example. They literally lost at home to Louisiana Lafayette by almost 20 points.
Right.
Imagine if we'd have just written them off week 1 and said that they suck.
Right.
You know, they almost won out the rest of their schedule, and they damn near won the Big 12. And I know Oklahoma didn't look good. I know Clemson didn't look good. I know Ohio State didn't look good, but like you said, Uncle Lou, these have been the top 5 programs of college football of the last 4 or 5 years now. And I just don't understand how all of a sudden they're terrible.
Well, it's like these people are the type of people that look outside, see if it's raining, see that it's raining, but they don't believe it until they go outside and get wet. That's the type of people we're dealing with here with some of these overreactions. Thank you for the call. I've got to move it along because we're running way too late, and I want to try to get to everybody that's on hold. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. That means you, Notre Dame man. Go.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about Kyle Hamilton?
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Kyle Hamilton is?
I wouldn't lie to you.
Come on, Lou. Come on.
You're running out of time. Anything else?
Nah.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day. I mean, you could have told me who Kyle Hamilton was, or you could have sat there dumbfounded. You chose option B. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. How's it going today?
Going good.
Oh, great. Yeah, no, I love the new meme. Apparently, y'all got a head coach problem there, huh?
Who?
No. Georgia. But no, what I wanted to touch base with you about is, you think it's a little too soon to say Frost and Ogeron's goose is cooked this year? Or
I don't know about Ogeron. I mean, I still put it. Listen, winning a national title means something, but eventually that shine wears off. I mean, Les Miles got fired from LSU, didn't he?
Well,
did he win a national? And he won a national title. So,
well,
you know, now I don't think LSU's going 6-6 because they lost to UCLA. I think UCLA is just a lot better than a lot of people realize. Now, we talked on here every time I would talk to a Pac-12 person or somebody that pays attention to the Pac-12, they all told me the same thing. UCLA is going to be really good. And it was hard to believe because it's just been a long time since we've seen Chip Kelly's style work. You got to go all the way back to the Oregon days. But it turns out some of those people might have been right. I mean, I still think LSU is better than the majority of the teams they're going to play. So we'll see what happens on down the road. But, I mean, I don't think they're going to fire. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on at LSU that doesn't have anything to do with results on the field. NCAA investigations. You know, so, you know, what happens a lot of times is let's say he goes 7-5. Well, maybe they fire him, but they say it's because of the off-field stuff. I mean, I don't know, but I find it hard to believe they would fire him after this year, though. I think the wheels would really have to come off for that to happen. So I don't want to act like I'm not giving him any credit for that national title, because like I said earlier, I understand Joe Brady and Joe Burrow. I get that. But guess who brought those two people in? Ed Orgeron.
That's very true. I'll be real with you on that front. I'm a bit of
I give him credit for that, but at some point, though, you know, 6-6 last year. If they go 7-5 or 8-4 this year, I mean, that becomes unacceptable at some point at LSU. I'm not saying they'll go 8-4, but I'm saying if.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just in terms of how they played with UCLA, I got to be real with you. And it looked that great in terms of just overall play. But at the same time, it's hard to say where you can't doubt them having talent. They absolutely have talent.
Right.
So at a certain point, you got to lay it on the coach. And obviously, with track record, you can't forget Gene Chizik. As a Bama fan, I got to remind Auburn of that.
That's right. That's true.
But you know, and so it's one of those that I'm not too sure on that. I'm pretty positive this is Frost's last stand with Nebraska up there. They're just. That's a damn shame what's happening up there in general.
Yeah, now I'm more willing to buy into that right now than I'm Ed Orgeron. I do think there's a chance Scott Frost gets fired because they've got investigations going on there too. And what happens a lot of times if a school wants to fire somebody and there's an investigation going on, they strike while the iron is hot. In other words, they don't have to pay the buyout. They can say, well, we're firing him for cause because he broke this rule, and this rule. So now we don't have to pay him a buyout. That's what Tennessee did with Jeremy Pruitt. They got rid of him right after that investigation was announced, so they didn't have to pay him a buyout.
Yeah, other than that, I just want to take the time. It's the first time called in. I love your show. As an insufferable Alabama fan, I like to hear from insufferable Georgia fans from time to time. You never disappoint, so I wanted to shoot that over there. Other than that, I mean, obviously people being dumb. The biggest takeaway from this weekend between Georgia and Clemson is they both have great defenses, and the ukulele isn't Trevor Lawrence. That's about it, really.
That's it.
But outside of that, really, that's what we have. Georgia's going to be a great team this year, no doubt about that. We'll take it 1 week at a time. You never know with Auburn and Florida. You never know. Those are never know games, but we'll see. Auburn does actually look like they have a team this year, so who knows? But either way, that's all I wanted to say, and I hope you have a great night.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to call in. I hope you'll call back in. Good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Yo. Check me out right here, yo. The sun don't shine forever, but as long as it's here, then we might as well shine together. Better now for never. Business before pleasure. P. Diddy and the fam. Who you know do it better.
Right now, the Heisman odds. We got Bryce Young, Spencer Rattler. Okay, wait. Is this updated? Still has DJ Ukulele. Number 3.
Wow. You mean there's people that think DJ Ukulele is really, really good and just went up against a great defense this weekend? Wow. That's hard to believe. Thank you for the call. It's almost like I've been saying that for 3 days straight. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Oh, okay. Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. How you doing this morning?
Doing good still. Same, just as good as I was doing 5 seconds ago when you asked me.
First time calling in on the Uncle Lou show. I'm pretty excited. I just want to take a new angle at this Georgia-Clemson game that happened this Saturday.
All right.
So I don't feel like people are talking about it, but I think you got to trace this back to Dabo in the offseason. Dabo and his egotistical, arrogant self, he doesn't believe in taking transfers.
Right.
And I think transfers would have been excellent in this game because it seems that Clemson has a serious running back problem
and an offensive line problem.
Yeah, sure would have been nice. It sure would have been
5.
nice if Dabo didn't have to start a true freshman left guard and a 2-star center. That sure would have been nice. I wonder if there was any guards or centers available in the transfer portal. But nope, Dabo can't be bothered with that.
Well, when you think your program is so good, nobody can challenge you. Things like this happen. I mean, last year we saw it with them. Ohio State was a, what did he say, 12 ranked team in the country, and then they lost to them.
Right.
So what does that make Clemson?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand it.
He's got
Every
foot
other
and mouth
top 5
disease.
team in the mix.
Yeah, Dabo's got foot and mouth disease.
Every other top 5 team. You saw Oklahoma. They took Tennessee offensive lineman. And you have even Alabama. Toa. Well, who the hell else they got? Jameson Williams. I mean, I think it's time for Dabo to start changing things.
Right.
Or he's going to get left behind.
Well, I don't know about that. He's got a lot of clout built up, and I still think he's one of the best coaches in all of college football. He just happened to get out coached this weekend. But thank you for the call. Who is this in the comments section now? Oklahoma isn't a top 4 team. Okay. Well, tell me who is then. I mean, you can't. That's only half a argument. You have to tell me who's the 4th team if it's not Oklahoma. No one's on hold, so that's going to be it for the phone calls. Now I'm just going to stay on until y'all piss me off in the comments section, and then I'll get off. Justin says Clemson. So you would put Clemson ahead of Oklahoma? That wouldn't, I mean, that's not crazy. I don't think the top 5 should change. The order should change. But I don't think the teams in the top 5 should change based on this last weekend's games. Ole Miss full potential. 10-2 with a win over Bama would be the ceiling, and then a couple of boneheaded losses. I don't think Ole Miss can play good enough, consistently enough on a week-to-week basis to go 12-0. But if that offense gets clicking, I mean, we saw it last year. They gave Bama one of the best games of anybody all of last year. When that offense gets going, it's hard to stop. But I don't think they can play that. I don't think they can play that well consistently enough to go 12-0 or win the West. But I do think if things are going right at the right time, I think they could beat an Alabama or a Texas A&M, but I still think they would end up losing 2 or 3 games. That's how I feel right now. I will say this, though. Their defense looked a lot better than I thought it would. Their defense was horrendous last year. Did y'all watch the game last night? They put the stats up on the screen several times, but Ole Miss gave up an average of 580 yards a game last year. That's some of the worst defense of all time. Tank Bigsby is the best running back in college football. I don't know about that, but he's up there. Black Mamba says, I would put A&M top 4 over OU. Well, we'll see. A&M gets a chance to prove it against Bama here in a few weeks. So we'll see. Oklahoma's not a top 6 team. It's Bama, Georgia, OSU, and Cincy. Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, Oklahoma. It's hard for me to put Cincinnati in the top 4 or 5 right now because they've yet to have like that big win. So far, what Cincinnati has done is destroy everybody on their level and lose to everybody they've played in the Power 5. They've yet to have that game like Central Florida had against Auburn. You know, they lost to Georgia last year. They lost to Ohio State the year before that. It's possible they could get in the playoff if they run the table because that would mean they would have a win over 2 Power 5 teams. Tank is going to run all over Georgia. Nobody's going to run all over Georgia. Will Tennessee win this weekend against Pitt? I'm probably going to pick Pitt in that game. Notre Dame is definitely not top 5. That I agree with. It might not even be top 10. Could Coach O be gone like Les Miles if they lose to Mississippi State in 3 weeks? Not in the middle of the season. No, I'm not going to fire him mid-season. I don't think. Can South Carolina run all over you? No one can run all over UGA. Nobody. Georgia's given up 2 rushing touchdowns since 2018. And this year's Georgia defense is better than 2019 and 2020. Is Uncle Lou a top 5 trash talker on YouTube? Zach says Pitt's beating Tennessee by 14 plus. Well, you should bet that game big then because they're only like a 2 or 3 point favorite. I still have question marks about Georgia's secondary. Clemson wasn't able to take advantage of it because they didn't have a good enough offensive line to protect the ukulele. But if a team has an offensive line that can give their quarterback time to stand in the pocket and throw, then I think there's an opportunity to move the ball and score some points on Georgia through the air. But the pass rush was so crazy against the ukulele, he just didn't have time. But if you get a team with a better offensive line and a good quarterback with some receivers, I think a team could move the ball on Georgia through the air. No talk about Penn State. No one asked about Penn State, but they had one of the best wins of the weekend. Can South Carolina make a bowl game? It depends. We'll see. They play East Carolina this weekend. They're an underdog. East Carolina is favored over South Carolina, so we'll see what happens this weekend. Landon says Anthony Richardson could be the next Tim Tebow for the Gators and with potential to be a far better passer. I don't know about the next Tim Tebow, but he appears better than Emory Jones to me. Parker, thank you for the super chat. Kentucky is beating Missouri this Saturday. #facts. Kentucky definitely looked way better than Missouri last week. Mommy's Toy says, thoughts on trying to bring Neil Callaway to OC? No, we don't need an OC. Why would Georgia no. Stop it. King Master, thank you for the super chat. Wheel route equals beating Georgia. Well, it equaled beating Georgia for Florida last year when they had Kyle Trask, Kyle Pitts, and all those receivers, but they don't have any of that this year. So that's the problem. But, yeah, that wheel route last year in the Florida game, Florida ate Georgia up with that. Washington losing was so bad. Yeah, one of the worst losses of the weekend. Washington losing, Georgia Tech losing. Those were 2 of the worst losses. Any predictions for UCF? Yeah, I think UCF will win 10-plus games. Do you think South Carolina was good last week? They did all. I mean, they did all you can do. You play a middle school team. That's all you can do, and they went out and did it. But I don't think South Carolina is any better now than I thought they were before that game was played. With Washington losing, will Michigan beat them? Yes. Michigan will beat them. Only game Georgia may lose is Mizzou. I find that hard to believe. Missouri's 1-9 against Georgia in the last 10 years. Oklahoma versus Alabama national championship. Oklahoma's going to have to get a lot better defensively, but it's early. That can still happen. Oklahoma was a popular pick to make the national title game in the offseason because the feeling was that their defense was going to be a lot better this year, but it didn't look that way in week 1, so we'll have to see how it goes from here. Kentucky No Sucky says, love what I saw with Kentucky's pass game, but I got to see it a few more times against SEC opponents before I'm truly sold. Now, there's a smart man right there. There's a smart man. Happy with what he saw, but not overreacting. There you go. Georgia will have Butkus Award winner again this year. Nakobe is better than Roquan. Nakobe Dean is an absolute animal. No doubt about it. Bama might have a better group of linebackers overall, especially when you look at the two deep. But I do think Nakobe Dean is the best inside linebacker in America. I've been saying it since January. And he was the best player on the field Saturday, in my opinion. And there's a lot of NFL players. How many NFL players were on the field in that Georgia-Clemson game? And I think Nakobe Dean was the best player on the field. Lou, who do you think will recover better in the ACC Coastal, Miami or UNC? Miami. Miami doesn't have anything to recover from, in my opinion. Bama, I think everybody should have saw that coming, the Miami getting blown out by Bama. No one saw the UNC thing coming, especially as bad as they looked. So if I had to pick right now who's going to have a better record at the end of the year between Miami and North Carolina, I'd go with Miami. Pitt over the Vols this week. Yeah, I'm probably going to end up picking Pitt. Is a hot dog a sandwich? No. Call into the Tennessee radio show again? No. They know who I am, and all they do is leave me on hold for an hour. They don't let me on anymore. Don't sleep on Channing Tindall. I'm not sleeping on Channing Tindall. He's good. He's not as good as Nakobe Dean. I mean, there's a reason. I mean, Nakobe Dean's been playing since the minute he stepped foot at UGA. Channing Tindall really played his first meaningful game this past week. Who you got in the Oregon OSU game? Ohio State. What do you think about UCLA? UCLA has played 2 good games. UCLA has looked good 2 weeks in a row. I don't think there's another team that can say that. UCLA's played twice. They've looked good both times. Could South Carolina make a bowl game? If they beat East Carolina this week, I think they have a chance. If they don't beat East Carolina, then no, they're not making a bowl game. Is this Coach O last season? Depends on the regular season record and what happens with the NCAA investigations. Hard to say right now. Do you have a favorite NFL team? No, I don't. Is Coach O fired at the end of the season? If I had to bet right now, I would say no, that he's not fired at the end of the season. But if things go off the rails, maybe. Will we see White Tonto this week? Well, tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Top 10, or my ranking video, weekly ranking video is tomorrow. A preview video for the weekend's games is on Thursday, and there is a super fan in it, but I'm not going to tell you which one. You have to wait till Thursday to find out. Biggest surprise team in the SEC West? You mean in week 1? Or who do I think will be the biggest surprise team in the West? I don't think there's going to be very many surprises in the West. I think Alabama and Texas A&M are going to be the 2 best teams, just like everybody thought. I think after that, it's going to come down to LSU, Ole Miss, and Auburn, just like everybody thought. And Mississippi State and Arkansas will be sucking hind tit. By the way, best bet of the week, if you want to know, if it's not too late. Last night, Texas was only a 6.5-point favorite over Arkansas. And I went ahead and bet it because I'm pretty sure that line is going to go up. Let's see if it's already gone up. I couldn't believe it when I saw that they were only a 6.5-point favorite against Arkansas. I'm all over Texas on that one. Texas, yeah, I'm all over that. Let's see what it is now. Texas and Arkansas, where you at? Pittsburgh's a 3.5-point favorite over Tennessee. Ohio State's a 14.5-point favorite over Oregon. The South Carolina-East Carolina game is now a pick'em. Last night, East Carolina was favored by 2.5. So the line has moved in South Carolina's favor in that game. Notre Dame's only favored by 16.5 against Toledo. Holy Toledo. Georgia's favored by 25 over UAB. I'm all over that. Georgia beat them by 35. Iowa State's favored by 4.5 over Iowa. Now, that's weird. That's weird. Matt Campbell, I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I think Matt Campbell, coach of Iowa State, he's winless against Iowa. Iowa State looked terrible last weekend. Iowa beat the bejesus out of Indiana, but for some reason Iowa State is favored. That line seems weird. Texas A&M by 17 over Colorado. Miami's only favored by 9 over App State. NC State's only favored by 2.5 over Mississippi State. That seems too low. Texas is now a 7-point favorite. I'm glad I got it at 6.5. 6.5 is much better than 7. Glad I bet that game yesterday. It's already up to 7. Kentucky's favored by 5 over Missouri. Michigan's favored by 7 over Washington. Utah's favored by 7 over BYU. Southern Cal favored by 17 over Stanford. There's some of the lines for the week for you degenerate gamblers like me out there. Vaughn Pearson, thank you for the super chat. As a former Tennessee player, I strongly believe we can catch the dub against Pittsburgh. #go Vols. Well, I'm an SEC homer, so it wouldn't hurt my feelings if you won. But if I had to pick that game right now, I'd probably pick Pitt. Chance of Eric Gilbert coming back to play this year, I would put it below 50%. Below 50%. Texas and Oklahoma will have losing records in the SEC for decades until they cry about how unfair it is and beg to go back to Pac-12. I don't believe that. I don't think you believe that either. Darnell Washington coming back soon. Yeah, Darnell Washington coming back soon. Kyrus Jackson coming back soon. Dominic Blaylock coming back soon. Tyke Smith, the safety, coming back soon. The only one that we're going to have to wait a couple of months on is George Pickens. I think everyone else, will be back by the South Carolina game in 2 weeks. A couple of those guys may be back this week against UAB. We'll see. There's so many things I want to do to you, Uncle Lou. Yeah, but the only thing you're actually going to do is type. That's it. Doesn't really matter what you want to do. The only thing that matters is what you're going to do, which is type and watch me every day like you're supposed to. That's all you're going to do. Thoughts on if UJ and Clemson made an annual series against each other? Georgia would win 75 or 80% of the time because that's what's happened throughout history. Georgia is 43-18 against Clemson all time, so it wouldn't hurt my feelings to play them every year. Lou, do you think Milton stays a starter for the Vols? No. Do you think Georgia has a chance to win it all? Yes, I think there's 4 or 5 teams that have a chance to win it all, and I think Georgia's one of them. The favorite clearly Alabama looked like the best team week 1. There's no question about it. if you had to pick one team right now who you said was the best team, it's got to be Alabama. They clearly look like the best team week 1. But I still think there's 4 or 5 teams that have a chance. Over under on Dabo's foot and mouth moments this season. I'm gonna put it at 7. When it gets to the end of the year, when a playoff poll starts coming out, he's gonna be crying nonstop, trying to get Clemson into the top 4. Lambo, what's up, buddy? He says, "Go Dogs! Glad we got the W. I missed the type scene you did a few years ago. That's my favorite." Yeah, I don't think I have that on here anymore. I got this one maybe.
Lou makes me so damn mad.
Yeah, that's the average typer troll right there.
Lou makes me so damn mad.
What's up, Bama Matt? Oklahoma being number 2 and barely beat Tulane. Oklahoma's not number 2. Georgia's number 2. Oklahoma's 3. Ohio State's 4. Clemson's 5. How much do you think Bama will put up against Florida this year? 40s. Do you think we see Beck and Vandergrift Saturday? I think you see Beck. I think you'll see Beck for sure. Who do you think is going to make the playoffs? I don't do playoff predictions. How long till we see Pickens again? My guess would be November at the earliest. All right, TB. See you next time, buddy. Who do you think will replace Coach O, and what do you think of Bryce Young? Bryce Young looked amazing. His size would concern me a little bit if I was a Bama fan, just because he's teeny. I mean, it's not a knock. There have been small quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees. But anytime you have a small quarterback, I think injury and being able to hold up over a season has to be at least somewhat of a concern. I mean, a quarterback is a dangerous position to play, even if you're Cam Newton, 6'6", 240. Bryce Young is small, so that would be my only concern, but he looked amazing. Do you think Clemson will make the playoffs if they win out? Well, it would depend what happened with the other conferences, but my bet would be yes, that if they go 12-1 with an ACC title, they will get in. FSU is going to get their big upset over Georgia. You might want to check the schedule. A Mustang runs great. Haven't had any problems with it. Do you think Cincinnati can make the playoffs? Depends what happens in the other conferences, but if they go 13-0 with a win over Notre Dame, they would have the best chance of any Group of 5 team has ever had. Dark horse runner up for SEC East. Mizzou. I picked Mizzou to finish second in the East, and that is a dark horse pick because most people have Mizzou finishing 4th behind Kentucky and Florida. Well, we're going to find out if Cincinnati is better than Notre Dame or not because they play this year. Florida will score at least 20. Don't get it twisted. We ain't Miami. Have you seen Beck in practices? No. No. No one sees practices. He's second string right now behind JT Daniels. I saw him in the spring game. He looked great. Nikki G, thank you for the super chat. He says, Lou, my cousin, who is a Clemson fan, had 7 packages from Amazon on his porch. When I asked him why he doesn't bring them in, he said they were 3 yards away so he could pick them up. I did not watch TCU. I didn't see that game. Where is College Game Day this week? They're at the Iowa State game. Yeah, don't forget I'll be streaming Saturday morning at 9. I stream every Saturday morning at 9 during the season. Did Auburn's offense look more complete under Harsin? Hard to tell from week 1. Hard to tell. Bo Nix looked good, though. College Game Day is Washington versus Michigan. No. That's fake news. Why would they go to Washington and Michigan? Washington just lost to Montana. It's in Ames, Iowa, for the Iowa State game. I don't know who said that it was in Washington, Michigan, but that's a lie. Yeah, Top Billin doesn't even... I've been blocked from Top Billin's channel for 2 years. He doesn't let any YouTuber comment on his videos or live streams. He blocks any YouTuber that comments over there. Will JD go first round? Who's JD? I don't know who that is. Does Bama slip up before the SEC championship? If they do, it'll be a huge upset. Bama's going to be double-digit favorites in every game they play, including Texas A&M, in my opinion. Who is you, Joe Burrow of the draft? I don't know what that means. Dan Mullen thinks Emory Jones is the next Dak Prescott. Emily Jones isn't even the next Nick Fitzgerald. Jazz Jackson, thank you for the super chat. He says, just buying you a sandwich, Woo. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, sir. Hey, every little sandwich helps. Thank you, Jazz. Florida don't even know who their QB1 will be. Well, Mullen came out today and said it's Emory Jones still, so we'll see how long that lasts. All right, it's after midnight, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Somebody requested a song at the beginning of the show, so I'm going to play it now, and then we're going to get out of here. But I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. We had a good time. Thanks for all the phone calls. I do this every Tuesday and Thursday night year-round. There is no off-season on this channel. There's just a part of the season where we don't play games, but that part of the season is over. So make sure you tune in every Tuesday and Thursday night. We have a really good time. Shout out to everybody that supported the show today through the PayPal or the Super Chat. You guys are the true MVPs. Jazz Jackson, Nikki G, Mr. Lambo, Von Pearson, Kingmaster 1K, Kentucky No Sucky, Mommy's Toys, Parker, Landon Gosnell, Will's Wolverine Report, LW, LSU Scooter, Clint Eastwood, El Duderino, the dude, his dudeness, Mr. Lebowski, B-Dog, Kevin Wood II, Conscious Mind, Troy, Stephen Roberts, Ethan Hewlett, Hugh Freeze's Burner, Davis Painter, Ben Easterling, Troy, Dylan Deloney, Brucus, and Jordan Kapler. Really appreciate all of you. There's a million ways to spend $1, so the fact that you would choose to spend a couple of them here supporting this show and what I'm trying to do here on YouTube for the college football community means a lot to me. I really, really appreciate it. And then over on the PayPal page, I can't forget you guys. We had Daniel B. and David B. Appreciate all of you supporting the show tonight. That really means a lot to me. Had a good time. Hope to see y'all all back here Thursday night at 10. We'll do it all over again. I've got my Week 2 college football rankings coming out tomorrow. And on Thursday, I will be doing a preview and prediction video for this weekend's biggest games. And we will be joined by a super fan. Can't tell you which one. You have to tune in on Thursday to find out. Maybe it'll be Bob DeBarner. Maybe it'll be White Tonto. Maybe it will be 90 Proofer Luther. Maybe it will be Natty Back Steve. Maybe, just maybe, it'll be Philip Huang Techtard III. Find out Thursday. Anyway, I love you all. I play this song that was requested at the beginning of the show. If I can find it now. And I'll see y'all again real soon. Have a good morning.
Regulators. We regulate any stealing of his property. We're damn good, too. But you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean. Earn your keep.
Regulators, mount up.
It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume some skirts for the E, so I could get some phones. Rolling in my ride, chilling all alone.
Just hit the east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G. Seen a car full of girls, ain't no need to tweak. All of you skirts know what's up with 213.
So I hooked a left on 21 and Lewis. Some brothers shooting dice, so I said, let's do this. I jumped out the ride and said, what's up? Some brothers pulled some, so I said, I'm stuck.
Since these girls peeping me, I'm gonna glide and swerve. These looking so hard, they straight hit the curve. Want to bigger, better things than some horny tricks. I see my homie and some suckers all in his mix.
I'm getting jacked, I'm breaking myself. I can't believe they taking Warren's wealth. They took my rings, they took my Rolex. I looked at the brother, said, damn, what's next?
They got my homie hemmed up and they all around. Can't none of them see him if they going straight pound for pound. They wanna come up real quick before they start to clown. I best pull out my and lay them busters down.
They got guns to my head, I think I'm going down. I can't believe it's happening in my own town. If I had wings, I would fly, let me contemplate. I glance in the cut and I see my homie Nate.
16 in the and 1 in the hole. Nate Dogg is about to make some bodies turn. Now they dropping and yelling, it's a tad bit late. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate. I let my explode. Now I'm switching my mind back into freak mode. If you won't skirt, sit back and observe. I just left a gang of over there on the curb.
Now they got the freaks, and that's a known fact. Before I got jacked, I was on the same track. Back up, cause it's on N-A-T-E and me, the Warren to the G.
Just like I thought, they were in the same spot, in need of some desperate help. But Nate Dogg and the G-Child were in need of something else. One of them dames was sexy as hell. I said, ooh, I like your size. She said my chords broke down and just sing real nice. Would you let me ride? I got a car full of girls and it's going real swell. The next stop is the East Side Motel.
To a whole new era. G-Funk, step to this, I dare ya. Funk on a whole new level.
The rhythm is the bass and the bass is the treble.
Chords, strings, we brings melody. G-Funk, where rhythm is life and life is rhythm.
If you know like I know, you don't wanna step to this. It's the G-Funk era, funked out with a gangster twist. If you smoke like I smoke, then you like every day. And if your ass is a buster, 213 will regulate.
Tater man, does whatever the tater can. Runs down the hill, rubs his rock. The ukulele can suck my. Watch out, here comes the tater man.